Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventurers Wanted, Untold Tales. I'm Chris, I'll be your DM for tonight, and we are playing Dungeons & Dragons. We're thrilled to be streaming at twitch.tv/D&D and twitch.tv/Adventurers Wanted. So, for those who might be new to D&D, may have stumbled on this channel by accident, or have just browsed the internet and gone, ooh, this, and clicked, we're playing Dungeons & Dragons, which is a tabletop role-playing game. What that means is all of the players around me are playing characters in a shared fantasy universe. They have character sheets in front of them which tell them what they can do and how they can act and all the lovely things their characters can achieve, and I play literally everything else in said fantasy universe. Everyone they encounter, every weather effect, lots of water today, lots of pools of water I'm playing today. That's my main role today. Excellent. And everything else will be handled from there. The main thing that role-playing games have that's different from just, say, us performing a lovely little skit for you is that we use dice to keep things interesting. Normally a 20-sided dice. That's one of these, if you can see that. There we go. 1 to 20. 20s are absolutely brilliant, and 1s are hilariously bad, so feel free to cheer and or boo, depending on what's going on at that moment in time. And with those dice rolls to keep things unpredictable, and with our character sheets in front of us, we will tell our tales. So, Untold Tales. We are telling a series of one-shots, that is, adventures that can be told in the next 3 hours or so, and all the characters here are playing their characters for the first time and playing them together. Today's adventure is called the Abbey of Eldath, and I think it's best if we go around and give everyone a chance to introduce themselves and their character. So could you please give your name, your pronouns, your character's name, their pronouns, and a bit about where they are and what they're up to. So I'm Chris, and I use he and they pronouns. Emma?
So I'm Emma. I'm gender fluid, but I'm using she, her pronouns today. My character Fog is an Air Genasi druid. Fog has been at the Abbey for a long time. They're roughly 60, or the equivalent in Air Genasi years.
Doesn't 60.
Sometimes doesn't marry up. Fog wears quite loose robes, which are grey, and has grey hair that's been pulled up into a top knot and looks kind of weathered and old. Fog uses they, them pronouns, and spends most of their time out in the garden chatting to the animals, or if the animals are not friendly, shooing them away from the garden.
Right. Excellent. Bibi.
Hi, Bibi, they, them for me. My character's name is Aifa, she, her. Aifa is around the same age, 60-ish, Asimar cleric. She is really, really cool. She would be a jock in high school, except in the last 50 years, she's kind of chilled out a bit. Aifa kind of prays to hedonism. She loves everything that makes you feel happy and good, and that's all she really cares about. And she's quite tall, quite buff. She has long grey hair that she puts up in a big top knot, and then she has shaved sides and back. She loves women a lot. She wears leather armor with some loose kind of robes and not much else. Kind of bronzed, sun-bronzed skin.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you, baby. George.
Hello, I am George, and my pronouns are he, him, and I will be playing Hara, who also uses he, him pronouns. I describe Hara as a rock granddad, not in the rock music sense, very, very much not in that sense, actually. He just has a ponytail. He is a hill dwarf, and there's a theme emerging in nature. He's the hill dwarf equivalent of late 60s. I think we established was in the few hundreds of years old. And I would describe him as well kept. Like he's got a big old belly. He's like really just enjoys life, but in a quite peaceful, sedate way. Like not quite in the same way as Aifa. Sort of tonsure style hair with a ponytail, and is generally seen with a sort of quite a placid or smiling expression.
Lovely.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Great, David.
So hello, I am David, pronouns are he, him, and I am playing Blenkin, who also goes by he, him. Blenkin is a forest gnome illusionist who has a fondness for books, and when not seen meandering about in his mobile heated hot tub, enjoys spending time in the library, and has the overarching ambition to one day perfect the system by which all books in the world can be managed. He looks anywhere between sort of 30 and very relaxed, or 130 and a big warrior. Has the traditional sort of professor's haircut of being bald on the top, and then on the sides sort of long and swept back.
Bill
Talks
Bailey.
to himself. Has a little familiar owl called Hawkins, and occasionally makes little friends just to hang around with, and is very socially awkward.
Yeah, grand. So, as you may have gathered, these are not your traditional adventurers, and there's a reason for that, which we'll get to once the adventure starts. So hold fire on all the questions, Twitch chat, we're getting there. Before we kick off, the stream will run for approximately 3 hours. There'll be a break, roughly an hour and a half, somewhere near the middle. We're delighted to be sponsored by D&D Beyond, the official digital toolset for Dungeons and Dragons. There is a, you can see everyone's character sheets on the Twitch overlay, which... the side is, it's either this side or that side. One side of the screen has a Twitch overlay on it, and as Emma just showed, we also have digital character sheets, which we use to keep track of all of the characters in the game. Do check to head to dndbeyond.com for more information. We're also delighted to be sponsored by Ultra Pro, who get your tabletop organized with them. They have dice bags, dice, card wallets, character sheet wallets. They're a fantastic purveyor of sports goods and other things, including D&D products, so do pop along to ultrapro.com and check them out as well. Finally, we play with a diverse group of players who play a diverse set of characters with wide-ranging sexual and gender identities. Our tables are trans-positive, and we encourage and champion trans players and characters in our games. The DM and players may portray characters that are of a different gender to their own, and while we aim to avoid misgendering, we do appreciate it does sometimes happen. So if it does, we have a policy for correction. We may sometimes miss things, so do message us on the Twitch chat if you see anything, or do drop us a message on Twitter or something similar so we can be aware where we have made errors and can fix it in the future. Cool. Without further ado, let's kick off the Abbey of Eldath. The Abbey, sometimes known as the Waters of Eldath, is a picturesque, quiet and peaceful retreat just outside of Tribor. Set up by Eldra Podrin, an ex-adventurer, the Abbey has wide grounds, no walls, no fences, and with a central large living annex with lush accommodation and an impressive library. The grounds feature a beautiful rockery, a series of strange follies, and the grounds themselves, these follies spread out far and wide and are in varying different architectural styles. This may seem peculiar at first, as they are clearly made a lot more previously. They're clearly made more recently. They are clearly recent buildings, even though some of them look ancient. They are there to commemorate various battles and wars around the Sword Coast, as Eldath is the goddess of peace. So this is very much a space for peaceful reflection, solitude, and quiet. The four of you live in the Abbey. You've lived in the Abbey for quite some time in some cases. Some of you might be slightly more recent arrivals. You have your daily routines that you go about, and this day is much like any other. You have woken, you have gone about your morning rituals. Why don't we start with BB? Aoife, what does she do on a morning? How does she tend to start her day?
Aoife doesn't do mornings. She
great, good start.
She'll sleep in until she's ready to wake up.
Okay.
And then she'll go probably have some very luxurious breakfast.
Sure. Yep.
Sort of the fantasy equivalent of a full English.
Yep. Yep. Which is a full English.
Great. Full English.
The Abbey has a large kitchen, a well-stocked kitchen, and the Abbey cook will happily cook for anybody. They're a delightful little halfling, big rumbling fat belly, and will cook anything anyone requires at any point in time. This is very much a space of relaxation and luxury, so it is trying to give everyone a chance to just enjoy life, enjoy peaceful coexistence more than anything else. So since it's the morning, Aoife, let's say that you haven't got up yet. You're still lying in, having a really lovely time. There are large dormitories with lots of bunk beds and shared spaces. So you're probably just relaxing in one of the beds, just slowly taking in the Z's and letting the morning sun wash over you gently through the window.
George,
what does Hara do first thing in the morning?
he's one of these obnoxiously early risers who seems to enjoy it. Like it's not sanctimonious, but he gets up early, goes for a walk around the grounds, all the while fantasizing about the first cup of tea, which he could have when he got up, but he waits. Like the act of walking and sort of taking in the sunrise probably is a build up to getting tea.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. So you're having a quick walk around the grounds.
I'd say leisurely walk around the grounds.
Leisurely walk around the grounds. Do you spend any time in your rockery looking at it, walking past it, or do you specifically avoid it until you've had your cup of tea and then start dealing with things in the rockery?
Again, it's probably a bit of even though I go there every day and look at it every day, it's probably there's a bit of a build up to it. So yeah, it's probably not the first place. Take a stroll around the rest of the grounds, have tea, play a game, and then sort of get to the real work of the rockery.
I understand. Do you have a particular folly that you like to visit or like to poke your head in?
Probably at any given time, yes, but it'll probably vary with the weeks and the seasons. Just appreciating small incidental architectural features. Like, oh, I never noticed that before, even though I've been looking at it for
cool. Well, the monument to the Crown Wars, which are some of the ancient Elvish wars that kind of helped define a lot of the Elvish diaspora around the Forgotten Realms and the Sword Coast in particular, will often be on your route because it is so large. It is one of the biggest follies in the space. You walk past this beautiful rock pillars. There's this sense of elven architecture, very sort of sweeping lines, lots of curves in the rock, a lot of marbled features. It's also been distressed. It's been distressed to look old. It is not actually old. It's maybe 50 years old. But walking through it, there are many pools in this folly, many water features, and sort of trickling water in small waterfalls over this elvish architecture, catching the light of the morning sun as it drips down into the pools of water. As you walk past, you also notice, as you would every time you walk past any of the follies and water features in the temple, that Eldath's faith often speaks of placing things in pools of water, of taking symbols of war, weapons often, and throwing them into these pools of water to reject the idea of conflict or violence. So there is a strange quietude, but also that trickling of water, and also the glint of the light off these sort of shards of metal, arrowheads, the arrows themselves long wasted away, swords, daggers, things like that in these pools of water as you walk past them.
I'd probably take a minute and sort of stand, hands clasped behind the back, just looking, scanning, breathing, just...
Lovely. Blenkin, what do you do on a morning?
Blenkin awakes when the rays of dawn come through the window. First thing I do, get up, go to the window, feed my familiar, go through the motions of it. It's obviously not a live bird, so it doesn't need to be fed, so I feed it with an illusion. Thank you. Thank you, Hawkins. And then I go over to the side of the room where I've hung my robe, and I prestidigitate it so it's all nice and clean and ironed. And I put on my robe, and I get a bucket of water, and I shape it using my cantrip, and I put it on my head so that it stays there like a hat and keeps my brain cool for the thinking. And then I'll walk down to the kitchen and get myself cheese on toast. And then I go to the library and I start reading a book because I want to read all the books in the world so that I know where to possibly file them.
Excellent. Lovely. That sounds like a delightful morning. So you have a sort of permanent fishbowl of water over half of your head? Yeah,
it just keeps my head cool or warm as is required. With the prestidigitation.
Lovely. Grand. That is what it is. Good. Lovely. Fog, how do you start the day?
I think Fog has been getting up progressively later the older they get. So it used to be like first thing in the morning they'd be out, but they've been getting on a bit. So as they get older, it's like nudging a little bit later. So it's probably like, I don't know, like it used to be like 7 and now it's like 8:30. Right. So they get up and they go and again walk around the grounds and say hello to all of their animal friends, starting with the fish.
There are fish in many of these pools of water around the space. Do you have a specific pool you go to where the fish live?
Probably whichever one the biggest ones are first, because they'd be the oldest, so it'd be important to say hello to them first because I'd have known them for the longest.
Sure. There is a folly slightly further away from the central annex, which is a folly dedicated to some of the crown. No, we had the Crown Wars, that was the Elvish Wars. To some of the wars down in Cormyr, some of the fighting back and forth there between some of the major factions. That has a very sort of humanist architecture. So we're talking lots of like solid, dependable, like stabs of, again, sort of pillar style things. Again, weathered and ancient, even though they're not, with some vines growing over them and a big, deep pool in the center of this, because it's quite a recent conflict. So more people tend to throw things because of this.
Is it okay to touch the pools, or is it not okay to touch the pool?
Absolutely fine. There are not many religious restrictions in Eldath's faith because it's all about peace. So as long as it's not like smashing the water around or anything crazy like that.
I think I just have like a handful of fish food.
Okay.
Which I like put in the water.
Do you put your hand in the water, or do you sort of pour it into the water leaning over?
No, I put my hand in the water with the fish food.
Lovely. Okay. Good.
And say hello too, because I can talk to the fish.
Mm-hmm.
They understand me, and then I can interpret what they're saying, which it's not entirely clear whether I can interpret like their movements.
It's their movements.
Yeah,
it's their movements. Yeah, they can't speak, they're fish. So
that's very reductive on fish.
Oh wow, okay, there we go. So a couple of the I think I'm going to say probably some koi carp are floating around.
Are they really big ones?
Really big ones, really old ones. Are sort of swimming around and come towards the food, and one looks over. Good morning, Fog.
Good morning.
How are you?
Special blend today.
Ooh.
Make you grow big and healthy. Well, even bigger and healthier. Shiny scales.
Well, that's what we want.
Yeah. Did anyone throw anything interesting in yesterday?
No. More of the same. The fish swims down and circles a shield, relatively new-looking shield with some like Cormyrian symbology of like a prancing lion on it. This one was recent.
Oh, cool. Well, I've got a lot of people to feed, so I guess I will see you later. But yeah, enjoy the swimming.
We will. Cool. You have started to make your way around the grounds and feeding all the various animals that you look after that spend some time in the grounds perfectly sensibly. You would all know that come roughly mid-morning to midday is when petitioners start to arrive, and you're used to seeing them. Normally people trudging their way up the path on the outside towards the central annex, which is kind of the sort of where the path leads to. The path does lead through a lot of the follies, so it is quite a long way out of Tribor to get there. Probably a good like couple hours walk, which is why people start to arrive mid-morning. And they tend to be pretty much the same type of person every time. It's an adventurer normally, someone who looks like they've gone down their luck a bit, looking a bit like they've had a rough time of it, at which point they use their chance here to shed themselves of armor and weaponry, a chance to really consider the idea of being peaceful, of actually hanging up the sword, hanging up the shield, and trying to find something a bit different. The main doors of the central abbey space of the annex are opened by Elder Podrin, who has a very noticeable limp, and limps away from the open doors where there is large open tables where prepared food is placed on them, sort of cold cuts and things like that, and will then sit in one of the chairs. Not something grand and ostentatious, Podrin isn't really big on that sort of thing, just one of the little wooden chairs, and wait. And as people come through the door, will either greet them from the chair or, if necessary, stand awkwardly with the limp to greet them and invite them in and explain how the abbey functions. Now, Blenkin, you're in the library, so you probably wouldn't be privy to this sort of thing. I'll say you can be up at some point. That's entirely up to you. Fog, you might be circling back. And Hara, this might be the point where you're going to get your tea. It's up to you. Could you give me an idea of where you are once petitioners start to arrive? Do you tend to engage them or do you tend to ignore them?
I probably like to watch, or like to have, so to take note of who's coming in and chat to people if people are in a chatty mood, which probably isn't very often.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Hara, you are perched in this central hall space as well on one of the chairs, probably having a cup of tea and just being there to be present, probably to a certain extent. Blenkin's in the library. Fog, are you coming back?
I probably go and like talk to their horses and their dogs to see what kind of people they are, because you know you get a better description of people from their animals than from the people themselves.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're around the front.
Also, horses are fun.
Cool. So you're around the front tending some of the animals that people are bringing up, and people will sort of, maybe this is sort of part of the ritual, people will come in and you'll be there to take the reins of the horse and tie them up in the stables, make sure they're well fed and chat to the horses briefly, something like that.
Yeah.
Grand. Good, that works for me. And Ifa, are you waking up coming downstairs, or do you tend to stay the fuck out of this?
No. I'll come down and kind of check everyone out a little bit. Similarly, chat to some people, but for very different reasons, probably.
What are you looking for primarily?
Willingness. Just interest in me, and you know, the like lesbian stare you do from one side of the bar to the other, like kind of sizing people up.
All right. Okay. Cool. Right. So you're at the back, sort of gauging the people as they come in the door. Hara, you also get a view of people, and Fog, you see first. There's the same sort of people you recognize all the time, but these 4 figures that are now approaching up the path, they look different. They don't have a world-weary step like the adventurer walking up this path to the Abbey often has. They're striding with more purpose, more determination. There's a kind of directness to their approach, which immediately stands out to you as something that is peculiar or potentially even off. Do you want to roll me an insight check?
Yes.
Grand.
Can I?
Of course.
19.
Looking at the 4 of them approach, one of them is slightly ahead, a younger man, probably early 20s.
Very young. Excessively young. God, just a baby, really.
Yeah.
That's actually how I feel about people in their early 20s, and I'm only 29.
So yeah, that's how I feel when I'm in my 30s. Yeah. There's a younger man approaching. He's wearing, like, the armor that he's wearing looks quite refined, like it's quite nicely made. There's a classic sort of centerpiece helm that goes over the top. And the chainmail that he is wearing looks like it hasn't really seen much action. This isn't someone who has done a lot in his tie. It looks like someone who's just started out on the path of adventuring. He is walking slightly in front, and it is clear from your insight check that he is clearly in charge of this group of 4. Behind him, a rather broad, terrifying-looking dwarf. Again, sort of fully armored, a sort of cap helm on him, and big axe, arrows on the back with a bow.
Just like one
arrow. Arrows on the back and with a big
one.
axe.
That's terrifying.
There's a kind of grimness to this dwarf. The small halfling running with them looks a little more high-spirited and a little more quick grin. But you also see the itchy fingers immediately. This is someone who's definitely trained in the art of thievery to some description or another. And at the back, a tall, willowy elf. She appears to be somewhat distant, somewhat apart. She's wearing, like, it's almost like armor. There's a sort of strange, like, leaf-like quality to it, but she is definitely someone who means business. And they all exude this feeling of meaning business. None of them have horses. They're just walking up the path.
I'm very disappointed that there are no horses. Odd.
Definitely out of the ordinary.
Are there people here who are currently giving me horses?
There are a couple other people that you would expect, other adventurers who came a bit earlier, who did some ride up and some walked with the horse in tow. Not quite sure if they should be riding into the Abbey or just walking in politely. So you've got a couple of horses to deal with and a couple adventurers with that kind of world-weary, like 10,000 yard stare.
Can I... You know that thing that sometimes old people do where they're like, oh, I need to go sit down and, like, give the thing to someone else. Like, this is yours now. With the horses to whoever stood nearest.
Sure, one of the adventurers who's like, thank you. Oh, I see. I understand, of course. And just takes the reins and the kind of, I understand I'm supposed to help and I'm going to. And just holding reins of 2 horses now, not quite sure what to do.
And then I will go, the stables are that way, and then just walk straight into the hall. You do.
You can see Hara to one side drinking a cup of tea, and Ifa at the back doing the angry lesbian stare, I guess. And well, not angry, like the judgy lesbian stare. The ooh, what do I see?
Purposeful.
The purposeful lesbian stare. Thank you.
I'm gonna go to Elder Podron and just hover nearby, anxiously.
Something the matter?
No, yes, no, yes, no, yes.
Go on, Fog. I'm all ears.
There's some people down the road who might not be here for, peace.
Why would anyone want to come here? This is a place of peace and quietude.
Well, I mean, we know that, but...
we can't judge books by their cover, Fog. That would be a terrible way to handle our business.
But sometimes the cover says what's in the book. Blenkin did say that sometimes the cover says what's in the book.
Well, let's take it one moment at a time and not prejudge, shall we? Walking through the door now, these 4 figures, and all 3 of you in this hall can now see this, are walking in with some purpose and some intent. And as they walk in, and as the human sees Podrin, and Podrin sees the human, there is a kind of... Podrin sits up slightly and takes a deep sigh and just starts sort of nodding politely to himself.
I just hold my breath, which I can do for an indefinite amount of time.
Is this normal Podron greeting behavior?
No, not even close.
Do we notice this?
If you're checking out what's happening, which you both said you were, then yes, you can see that the tone in here, the sort of warmth and the camaraderie and the sort of pleasantness of the room has suddenly, like, the temperature's got a bit icy.
Can I nervously druidcraft some flowers as a distraction? Just like suddenly start growing ivy?
Sure. As the 4 figures are walking up, the dwarf, who's sort of surly next to the human, sort of looks at you and sees things growing out of you and just, like, a bit confused, but sort of notices it and is a little distracted by the flowers growing out of the person. That's definitely caught him off guard. The other 3 are walking forward. The dwarf is still walking them. They're all walking towards Podrin with some purpose.
Perhaps I can offer our new guests some tea.
Who are you speaking to?
Just the room at large. I'm pitching my voice loudly enough that they can hear this. It's like a sort of tacit offer to them, but also nominally to Podrin.
The human looks at you with no, thank you.
Are you sure? It's very good tea.
I'm not here for tea.
Oh.
He steps up to Podrin. It's been a while. Podrin. Indeed it has, Josen. How's your father? Dead. I'm very sorry to hear it. Podrin, I'm going to cut to the chase. You've got something that belongs to me and I want it back. The tone in the room is like, oh, this has really shifted. This has changed. Like, all 3 of the figures around Josan are watching everyone, just scanning over, looking for any signs that anything untoward might be about to happen. They're all like holding weapons of some kind, apart from the halfling rogue, who is sort of slightly like smirkingly just sort of wandering up to the table, picking up an apple, giving it a bite, like trying to show that sort of aggressive nonchalance. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Fog is doing that, you know, that Homer Simpson retreating into a wall of hedge.
But while standing still?
But it's just like a wall of ivy appearing in front.
Okay. Right.
Can I walk up to the elf woman?
Sure. Of course you can.
And I'll go up to her, just kind of slide in and go, have we met before?
She's doing this like officious looking around, looks at you and, no. Who?
Thought so.
She just sort of does a sort of look around and like she's like, no, I'm being officious, and is trying to maintain that sense of like, no, I'm scary, but it's not working particularly well. The other monks in the monastery, there are about 20 in total, are they're not moving, like they're just sort of taking this whole situation in. Now, Josan, I didn't steal it. It was a gift, and you can't take it. It's not to be taken. It's my birthright, and you stole it. You can argue any way you want, but I'm leaving here with it. Reaches up and snaps a gauntleted hand, and all 3 of the figures move out and try and grab hold of someone. the dwarf is going to look at the sort of large hedge and step forward towards you slightly and reach for the haft of the axe and just look at you with a kind of means business. Since you're saying next to the elf is going to just sort of start tracing arcane sigils in her hand. Just sort of directed slightly towards you. The halfling does nothing. Just continues pottering around the table, takes one of her short swords out and just stabs another apple and just starts eating it off the short sword.
God, she's a dick.
They're all dicks.
Yeah, but that one in particular.
Yeah.
Everyone listen, and listen carefully. I understand this is a place of peace, and I don't want to fuck with your shit. So, if you all behave calmly and stay out of the way, this doesn't have to resort to bloodshed. We're not afraid of it, though. Do you all understand?
The hedge nods.
I don't respond. I'm just looking at the elf to see what she's doing.
Yeah, the elf is what looks like prepping a spell in her hand. She hasn't cast it, but she is very much looking for an opportunity, just someone to do something, and then she will cast something, and you have no idea what it is. So, Tordex, stay here. Everyone else come with me. Podrin, Jozan gestures Podrin to stand up, who does awkwardly, with a slight, favouring the leg. And you go ahead. Jozan does not help him.
It's nasty.
If I'm close enough, I will go over to help him stand.
If you stand, all three of the others quickly, you can see very quick movement, like they're about to act, unless you...
Yeah. I stand and I'm holding my tea and I'm like, no, okay. Just sit back down again. Please, give him some help.
Right. Jozan looks at you. I don't have to do anything. I don't want to.
It's not about wanting to. It's about what's right.
Okay, old man. Doesn't help. Podrin is up and starts moving out towards the gardens. The other three, the elf sort of spell fades in her hand, and the halfling just sort of grinning at everyone slightly, still eating the apple off her short sword, is going to follow out with Jozan and Podrin. All three of them leave, but the big dwarf staying exactly where he is and watching all of you. Lincoln, what would be an interruption in your routine? Would you just stay in the library indefinitely unless something happened? What would be your reason to leave?
Blinken would definitely leave for lunch to have a cheese on toast and possibly an apple of some sort. Usually go for a walk in the afternoon, or if somebody comes into the library and the little bell goes off, I'd come over and try and help them find a book. Or if I'm reading a book about a particular activity that I want to go and try because I consider myself an expert in it, like the time that Blinken tried to do ice sculpting and it went horribly wrong. Another story.
Would you notice that it's particularly quiet in the Abbey, more so than usual? Normally there's a lot of sort of chatter and conviviality, but actually it's deathly quiet at the moment.
Blinken would assume that everyone had decided to be very considerate. And be very pleased that this had occurred. If it was one of those sort of ominous silences,
yeah, definitely.
Then yeah, that would almost certainly cause them to raise an eyebrow and possibly just sort of wander in search of what it was.
As you walk out of the library is on the top floor. In the library, there's a turn to your right, and then there are the turn to your right leads to a sort of upper level of this big hall. Looking down into it, you can see everyone standing incredibly still, and three figures you don't recognize walking out with Podrin, while a large dwarf, quite obviously, quite intimidatingly, is standing in front of Fog, with everyone else in the room looking quite tense and not sure what to do. Are you trying to be stealthy?
Fog is also inside a bush. This is
Fog
not
is also
normal.
a bush.
Blinken is very anti any sort of confrontation. So yeah, just sort of like
cool. Roll me a stealth check.
Blanken is not succeeding. That is a flat 9.
Flat 9. As you step out of your library, there's a faint shuffling of your feet, and all of you see the dwarf look up, look around, looks at the bush in front of him. How many people are here?
I don't know. I can tell you how many animals are here. There are several koi carp and a number of different squirrels and
He's going to try and intimidate you to stop talking.
Mice.
That is a 12. You can choose how you react.
I don't think that's more intimidating than my want to tell him about all of the animals.
Sure. He steps a bit closer to you and just shh.
But I haven't told you about all of the beetles yet.
I don't care about beetles.
What's wrong with you?
Who's upstairs?
Well, I don't know. I don't go upstairs.
Looks around the room.
Why don't you go upstairs if you want to know so badly?
I'm guarding. Looks at...
Well, guard upstairs then.
Looks at Hara. Hey. Can you go upstairs and round everyone up and bring them down?
You know what to do. Okay. I'll move with deliberately slower than I have to.
Sure. With a slow step, you move away from the table. Counting out in this room, nearly everyone is here. There are a couple of adventurers who you don't recognize who are clearly here for peace and are kind of unhappy with this turn of events, but also are not sure what to do and are trying to be quite calm and quite cautious. As you head towards the back stairs and walking up, you can see Blenkin outside the library just sort of looking a bit shell-shocked, not quite sure what to do or what's going on. You reckon there's probably another 2 or 3 monks around somewhere, but you can't see them.
So sorry, where's Blenkin relative to me? It's up on the...
As you walk up the stairs, you can see Blenkin standing outside the library.
Clutching the book like this.
I'll talk quietly and try not to make myself overhearable downstairs.
Cool. Roll me a stealth check.
Ooh. Stealth. Well, it's not great, or indeed good. It's 4.
Okay, start talking.
Blenkin, you should stay hidden. Get out if you can. There's people here who I think mean to do us harm.
Oh no. Do they want the books?
I do not think they do not seem the type to be interested in books. But in truth,
who are you talking to? I didn't say talk. I said bring them down.
Just clearing my throat.
Just come with me if it's not safe. We can go to the library where it's safe and it's nice.
I should go back down. I do not want the others.
Distraction to cast hold person.
Oh yeah, of course you can. What kind of saving throw am I making?
It is a wisdom save and it's a 14.
That is an 18. As you cast a spell on Tordek, the dwarf, from the side, he's, come on down, turns you, what? And is just going to grab the axe, turn towards you.
I will bonus action turn into a cat and run away.
So the bush tries to cast a spell and then starts running off as a cat.
Can't fault that.
Tordek's going to try and hit the cat as you run, because he's just going to walk towards and try and just chop down and chop the cat in half. What is the cat's AC?
I don't know. Terrible. 12.
Okay. Oh, that's a 15.
Yes, you hit the cat.
Yeah.
It has 2 hit points.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to roll it anyway, so I know the damage. That's 9 points of damage. He steps forward and chops down and just bisects the cat. The cat just gets chopped in half, which immediately turns into you with, like, you take some of the extra damage, don't you?
Yeah, I take 7.
Cool. So you're sort of, the axe is sort of in you, like... Looks around the room. You, points at Ifa. Tie her up.
Sure.
Don't use her.
Oh, I'm sorry. You tie them up.
Sure. I walk over slowly. And then I'll go over and ask, do you have any rope?
Yeah, take some out of the adventurous pack that he has. Yeah.
Can I use that moment?
Rope. Never used it before this point.
Can I use that moment to cast command?
Of course you can. Go ahead.
So it's a wisdom 13.
Okay.
Save.
What is it? Can't see. Oh, that's a 3.
Yeah.
And I'll say flee. And then I'll grab the not cat and drag them upstairs, or like start kind of like go, let's go upstairs.
Cool. Tordek goes, and just turns and runs towards us. And then after 6 seconds, run. Oi! And is going to start running back. If you two are running upstairs, the 4 of you are now upstairs, and Tordek is going to chase after you. So what do the 4 of you do? As the 2 of you get to the top of the stairs, you can tell that this has gone horribly wrong, and the big angry dwarf is now running up the stairs towards you and appears to be quite upset.
Sorry, lads, run!
Is there
Panic.
Is there like a door that we could go into that then there's lots of doors that go off it?
Yes, the dormitory door ahead of you leads to a wide open space, and that has many, many doors going off it to various corridors that lead back round here. Largely, the dormitory is a big space with lots of bunk beds, as described.
Before I join the others in running, can I stamp my foot at the top of the stairs and use Earth Tremor to like? I'm trying to just make the stairs a horrible mess, like a slip and slide. Like just send the dwarf back down.
It's a dexterity saving throw, isn't it?
It is a dexterity saving throw. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
For the stairs.
No, it's the Earth Tremor. It's on a character. Like it has to be on a character. That's not good. That is an 11.
That good question. What is? No, that fails. My DC is 12. So I stamp my foot. A crack just spreads out from the tip of my toes down the stairs, right under where Tordek is running, and hopefully.
What is the effect? What is the effect on Earth Tremor?
It's a damage, D6 damage, and is knocked prone. If the ground in the area is loose earth or stone, it becomes difficult terrain.
Great. Can you roll me the D6 damage? Got to stack all these up.
I will do so. There we go. That's a big old 2.
Perfect. Thank you. And Tordek sort of falls over on the stairs and clatters down them a little bit with a kind of Peace, just bounces down the stairs a little bit as the 4 of you run into the dormitories. What do you do as you hit the dormitories?
I guess try and go through a door that's not an obvious door.
There are many doors in the dormitories. The room is quite large. You could run to one of them and try and open it and get everyone through it. You could also hide here if you wanted to. There's also potentially lots of beds and things you could knock over on someone.
Hiding in the first room we go into is a dumb idea.
Okay. Well, then you pick a door. You know that this door eventually leads to a spiral staircase down to the kitchens. It's a back way to the kitchens. You can run through that door if you want to. Can you all roll me stealth checks if we're trying to run through to make it unclear which door you've passed through?
Yes, it's going to go super great.
Just realised this is the last of the summer wine more than anything else, isn't it?
Mine is a 9.
Yeah.
Also a 9.
Yeah.
18.
Ooh.
That is a 21.
Ooh. As you all run through this space and run through the door, you try and close the door quietly, but it does close with an audible click as you hear the door being kicked open and Tordek stepping in. Where are you? Oi, come back here! And Tordek's going to start walking, and you can hear from the dormitories like smashing of things, and is looking for you, and has also heard the noise, so is pretty sure which direction you've gone in. What would you like to do?
Keep running.
Keep running. You can run down the corridor. Sorry, Aitha, go ahead.
Can I cast thaumaturgy to create a loud noise in the room next door?
Thaumaturgy is something you can see, I believe.
Oh shit!
Is it? Just checking.
No, you can.
Within range.
Oh, within range. So there's no thing you can see. Lovely. You can make a noise in another room that sounds like people running away. That's perfectly fine. And as you do, as sort of a clatter of footsteps, and you can hear the footsteps as this chainmailed dwarf is running now through this through the annex, trying to find you, and has gone through a different door. The 4 of you appear to be safe for now.
What just happened?
They were not very nice.
They were not very nice.
No.
I do not think they are here to learn the ways of peace.
They need to learn the ways of peace.
Yes.
They better not hurt any of my fish.
I knew they were bad company when they didn't take the offer of tea.
It's like I was saying to Fog. Yeah, sometimes you judge books by their covers, and their covers were not very nice.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but what are we going to do, lads? I mean, come on. We've got to think of something.
We need to get Podrin back.
Yes, and see who else we can keep safe. If the dwarf cannot find us, I'm sure we'll head back to the room with the others, and if they've not gone, then...
Well, hopefully they've gone. I mean, come on. I don't know. Some of them have been here a very long time. They're very peaceable. They may just sit there.
That is the sort of thing they would do, yes. Running away is not generally the path to peace, unless I suppose you're running away down the path to peace. But it is problematic.
From the kitchen below, you can hear the sound of kicking things over, pots and pans going flying.
My cheese!
Do you say that loudly?
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
roll me. Okay, I'll allow that. That's shushed. That's fine.
Mushroom?
I don't think your cheese matters right now.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Pull yourself together, man. Come on.
The water hat is just stripping.
Oh no!
There must be something we can do to get them to go.
They said they were... Go ahead.
What are you saying? What do they want?
They were saying they were here for something. They said that Podrin had stolen it. Podrin said he hadn't. If we find that, and Podrin didn't wish to give it to them, but perhaps that is the simplest way of getting them out of here, or at least working out what they want and making sure they can't get it.
Or give them something that looks like what they want, but isn't it.
Yes. They do not strike me as people inclined to take the time to verify things. They seem very...
But we don't know what they want.
No.
What if we just try things?
I mean, I could turn into a small animal and sneak up on wherever they are and see if I could find out what they're talking about.
From the kitchen, the banging has now stopped, and you do hear footsteps coming up the stairs towards you. They're going up a spiral staircase.
We should go back into the dormitory, maybe.
Back in?
Well, away from the person who's coming towards us up the stairs.
Yes. Let's do that.
Step back through the dormitory door. Quite a few of the beds have been hacked, and it's clearly the visual dissonance for you is jarring.
Can I cast Snare?
Ooh. Wow, that spell no one ever uses. Yes, of course you can.
In the corridor we've just come through.
Yes.
And then if we leave the door noticeably ajar, but also vacate this room, there will be a snare on the ground.
It's a magical snare you can't see, right?
You would have to roll an investigation check, but you'd also have to be looking at it to roll an investigation check.
I understand. Okay, so you move out. Do you go back into the main hall from here? There's also
burning the spell slots.
Do you go back into the main hall from here? You can get back into the main hall. This is where you came, frankly. Or you can move towards the library, or you could take one of the other corridors that will eventually take you down to the main hall through a series of corridors. I guess just a longer way around.
I wouldn't usually say this, but maybe we should hide in the library.
The library is the great place for all of the things. There's probably even a book on hiding.
Yeah, it could be.
Is it really, really big?
You all move out of this space, move out through the door, and move across to the library, which you can step into perfectly fine. Have you cast Snare on the floor? Did that happen?
Yes.
What do I have to roll?
A dexterity saving throw.
That's an 11.
Right. So as he steps on the snare,
which he does,
rope hoists him 3 feet into the air and leaves him hanging upside down.
You suddenly hear a...
He is now restrained.
Can he cut himself free?
I didn't read this very well, so you can make an dexterity saving throw at the end of each turn.
Okay.
So it's not going to take very long, but it is delaying.
I mean, he's having a wonderful day, put it that way. He's fallen down some stairs and now he's been hoisted.
Pardon?
Do we know this happened?
Well, you would have seen me cast it on the floor.
And then we heard the noises.
Yeah.
Him being yanked upside down. So it's not as good because he's going to roll every 6 seconds, which is,
Can I go, Fog, help me out and just cast you the other side of the rope that he gave me and run in and try and tie it around him?
Yeah, of course you can. Totally fine. As you hear the and you grab the rope, run in and start trying to tie him up. You're trying to tie up someone who is going to try and swing at you.
No, he's restrained.
He's restrained. He's got an axe flailing wildly upside down, trying desperately to hit you as you run around. If you're restrained, you can still have disadvantage, can't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, thought so. So he's going to try and attack you with his axe with disadvantage, hanging upside down while restrained by the rope. Oh dear, that is a 14. No, it's a 7 to hit.
No, that won't hit.
No. Trying really hard to get away. Can you roll me a sleight of hand check to tie?
With advantage, I'm helping.
Yeah, to tie him up.
Okay. I gotta scroll to my skills. Sleight of hand, you said, right?
Yep.
That is a 14.
Did you roll with advantage?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I'm going to allow him a dexterity saving throw to see if he can get out of the snare, although Bernal would be, he'd have to get out of the ropes before he got out of the snare. So he's going to try and break free of the ropes first.
Okay.
Okay.
It's with disadvantage because he's restrained.
Yes.
No.
He sort of buckles, trying to push his way, and sort of bits of the rope start to fray a little bit. He's very clearly just stronking his way out of it, but he doesn't tear through it completely yet. He's probably held in place for quite a bit, but he's also going to break free at some point. This is not a permanent solution.
Can I go ahead?
I mean, would I have a dagger?
You may have a dagger, but also in joining the monastery, you did take vows of peace, meaning that you wouldn't.
I did, but he also whacked me when I was a cat.
Well, you've got 3 other monks here who may have opinions about that if you try and stab him.
Yeah.
He's restrained. Can I take his axe off him?
That's exactly.
Yeah, of course you can. You take this gigantic axe off him, and you're holding this humongous axe.
You do not require this.
He's got many other weapons on him.
I'm going to take all of them.
Okay, you managed to take off him a battle axe, a light crossbow, a bow, 3 daggers, and a hand axe.
I'm passing them down the chain of people.
I will tack myself up with some of those.
Okay, you can take the items. You can carry them. That's perfectly fine. When I get out of here, I'm going to have you.
It's going to be harder because you now do not have these things.
No, I still can't get out. Still shaking and writhing, trying to break free of this rope.
Can we? I think we should go put these in one of the pools.
I agree.
Good idea.
You may
But
learn
before we do
something
that-
about peace after all. To the dwarf.
I'll come out of this. I'll find you and I'll hack your heads off.
With what?
I will flick him in the forehead.
Get off me!
I would like to use a minor illusion to make some peaceful music playing for glang, glong, gling.
No, but stop!
Right. Shall we?
We should probably go now.
Really value this time. It's a good lesson. Make the most of it.
Some excellent work.
You leave the tied up. Oh my god! You leave the tied up dwarf. Because of the rolls I've been making, I'm going to say that for the time being, he's not going anywhere. But this is not a permanent solution. Just reminding you of that.
Yep.
I do feel like that was a good use of snare.
Very good.
Great. This is more exciting than a day that I've had in so long.
The 4 of you, where are you going after you've restrained the dwarf?
Well, we need to go
Restrained
to one of the pools to sacrifice all of these implements of death.
Should we check on everyone downstairs real quick? See if they've done the smart thing and actually walked away from the conflict. We'll walk downstairs.
As you walk, the stairs are difficult terrain, so it takes you careful steps to get down the stairs, so it's going to be a pain to fix. But you do manage to make your way slowly down the stairs. The room is empty. You don't hear footsteps or anything around here. Do you head towards the front door?
Yes.
So let's get us outside. Yeah.
If you head towards the front door, you can also see that the horses that were there have also gone. You have no idea if people have gone somewhere, if anyone's taken charge of the situation and got people to safety. You don't know what's happening, but for the time being, it looks like you're the only ones left.
I'm hoping this is a good thing.
They do appear to not be in danger, so...
I'd like to send Hawkins up into the sky and see if he can see anything.
As Hawkins flies, there are many, many follies throughout this space. You know the design of most of them. As you're flying around, having a look at them, there's one nearby with very dwarven styling, very blocky, very almost like there's an almost undergroundness to it. Hawkins does hear voices inside that one, but can't fly in without being noticed. Although Hawkins, to be fair, is an owl, so you could try and pass that off as Hawkins just being a friendly neighborhood owl. It's up to you.
Friendly neighborhood owl during the day. Blinken's quite timid by nature, so I think Hawkins will come back, but I will relay that information to the rest of the group, as I heard voices under the dwarf folly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I could attempt to sneak up on them as a small animal.
That's the plan.
Yes, it may get us the information we need about what they're looking for.
Absolutely.
I imagine they're trying to get Podron to show them where it is. Does Podron, what we know of Podron, do we know that would Podron give this up, whatever it is, if it's something important, would Podron give it up easily, or would
Podron used to be an adventurer. Podron is an example of the people who walk in with the 1,000-yard stare. Podron decided to stop adventuring due to undisclosed bad stuff, and Podron has been a peaceful, devout worshipper of Eldath for a very, very long time, and takes his role in being peaceable very, very seriously. Like, he's very good at, would always take the path of least resistance. It's not about trying to be there are very few things about Podron where he would put his foot down and say no if people were going to get hurt.
I want to help him.
I think we're all pro helping him, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to walk away from this?
Yeah. Should I...
No? Okay.
Should I weasel?
Yes, we'll dispose of these.
We dispose of the things. You weasel. We meet back at the...
That is good. It's quite heavy, this axe, but yes, let's dispose of it.
Okay. I will turn into a weasel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we'll head...
While you're into a weasel. And you're heading to one of the different follies.
Yeah, probably.
Lovely.
Vaguely nearby, but not too nearby.
Cool. As the three of you head towards one of the follies where you're going to dispose of this weaponry, and we'll come back to that in a second, you weasel. What are you weaseling?
I'm going to try and sort of stealthily, but also nonchalantly, because I am weasel, make my way to the place where Blinken said that Hawkins heard voices.
As you are weaseling along your merry weaselly way, up ahead of you is a folly that is dedicated to a war in Gauntlgrim, where they were fighting against Drow in particular. And it's a very squat stone space, and there's steps on all four sides leading inwards. So it does go down, and it goes down to a water feature that has a spiral staircase around it. That means you can get down to a sort of lower pool, lower base at the bottom.
Is there like a sensible way that a weasel would approach it?
Well, you would just go in one of the doors and head down the spiral staircase quietly, trying not to be observed. From a stealth check.
We'll attempt that. Oh dear. That's a 10.
10. Okay, just checking passives.
Let's hope the road's not with them.
Great.
I wouldn't have to go very far because I have advantage on perception checks that require on hearing.
Cool. As you get to the top, voices do carry, so you can be sitting at the top listening as you're...
I would prefer that because I don't need to go all the way in.
Cool. You're sat sort of at the top of this sort of central staircase. You're sort of in the gloom and dark. You've sort of moved your way into it slightly, but you are just sat there listening. And from down inside the shrine, you can hear... What do you mean you don't know exactly where it is? It's not something that can be found easily. I made sure it was hidden. Well, find it. It's going to take some time. I don't have time. I want to be in, I want to be out. Well, I will... You hear a sort of faint splashing of footsteps in water, a sort of faint moving through the water. Anything you'd like to do?
Well, would the splashing of footsteps mean the people are coming towards me?
No, from the inside of it, it would mean someone is stepping into the pool and sort of probably sifting through the stuff in the pool.
But I can't see that.
No, you're too high up. You can just hear it.
Oh, it's too dangerous to go closer.
You know it won't bring you happiness. What? It won't bring you what you're looking for. All I want is something I can sell. Simple as that. And this isn't something you can sell. It was the best treasure you ever stole. Dad told me. I'm well aware. And now I want it back. I want my share. And I'll share it with these 4. Like you should have done. Not every treasure can be sold, Josen. It's got to find the right buyer, that's all. And I have. You don't even know what you're selling. I mean, I know people who will buy anything. Keep looking. What's your AC?
13.
13. An arrow shoots out of basically nowhere and skewers you.
Yeah, I mean, I have 1 hit point as a weasel.
Yep.
However, if something that's trying to hide from me, my perception is really high, so I would have been looking for things.
Interesting. What's your passive perception?
16. But I also would have been looking for things, and I have advantage.
Okay, roll a perception check before the arrow comes shooting out. I've already rolled the stealth check, and it's stupidly high, so we'll see what happens.
I have advantage in mine plus 6.
Oh, interesting. Okay, we'll see.
Spicy.
23.
It's 26. I rolled a 16, and the rogue's got a plus 10. Rogues. I mean, that's what happens. Yeah. Cool. So that's 346.
I have a feeling this character's going to die. You just want to kill me.
8, 9, 10, 11, 15 points of damage.
Yeah. I take 14 of them. I have 3 hit points left.
Okay. As you turn back into yourself and hit the deck, wheezing, behind you, sort of perched on one of the steps going in from a different direction, the little halfling rogue is just grinning at you and pulling out a second arrow. Let's roll initiative.
It's going to go super well for me, isn't it? Ooh. That's a 10.
Yeah, that's a 23. Seeing you on the ground, she just steps forward slightly and goes, "Oh, is being peaceful not all it cracked up to be?"
Well, you wouldn't know. You haven't tried it, have you?
No, I don't particularly want to. Oi, downstairs. We've got an intruder. Go up and check what's going on. And you hear footsteps coming up the stairs towards you. Is there anything you'd like to do? It is technically your turn.
I will... I mean, there's not an awful lot I can do. Apart from die, really.
Dodge.
When in doubt, dodge. And that's a bonus action, so that'd be a good combo.
That doesn't help with dodging.
No, but if you were dodging and used temporary hit points, potentially.
Yeah, but no, I'm not using that now. That's a waste.
Oh, okay.
Also, I'm going to die, so it's irrelevant. I mean, if I'm going to die anyway, it doesn't make that much difference.
Oh, boy.
While this, just to check, how far away approximately are we, and would we have heard anything at all?
You have moved away to a different folly to toss these weapons away, and the follies are a good 50 to 100 feet apart, so unless you'd unless you were listening out and specifically listened for the sound of an arrow thwacking into something and some very light conversation. No, not yet.
Okay.
Look, I read a book
Actually,
this morning. I read this book called Don't Split the Party.
Yes.
No, that would be very bad.
Choices.
Are they like in combat with me?
She is in combat with you technically, but she is a good 20 feet away from you up.
No, well, she's not in combat with me.
Oh, I see. Not in melee range. No, not at all.
I'm just going to run away.
Okay. You use action and dash to just peg it?
Yeah.
Grand. You quickly...
And ideally get like behind a tree so that I'm not like easily...
Did you see which direction your friends went in?
Well, I don't want to go towards them.
Oh, okay, so you're running off.
Because that would be bad, wouldn't it?
Cool. So you run off and behind a tree.
Ideally towards like one of the large animals that lives in my garden.
You could use 30 feet of movement and roll a stealth check to try and run out and hide so she doesn't know where you are, or you can use 60 feet to just peg it.
Ideally, I'd quite like to run like into the field where the cows are kept.
Sure.
And just like be one with the cows.
As in wild shape into a cow?
No, I can't. I've used both my wild shapes.
Okay.
You killed them both in 2 blows. You've been very mean to me. I'm very upset.
Oh, you can run it's the cow. There is a field of cows around the back of the annex where they are milked and sometimes, well, very rarely slaughtered. It's often more milked than anything else. But you can run around the back too. That you'd have to dash to get even close to it.
Yeah, no, I'm going there.
Cool. You just run up, dash, and run. You hear some sort of high-pitched laughter behind you as you run and make your way out towards the paddock with the cows. And we'll pause there for a sec. Moving on, the 3 of you are taking the weapons and depositing them.
Just humming and tossing them
one by one.
Yeah, you managed to deposit all of the weapons in one of the various pools in the it's the crown one again, and you managed to place them all in very gently. And does one of you say a prayer to Elda?
This one's for my mom. This one's for my dad. This one's for Bosco, the best pup.
Sorry, David, what did you say?
Said that hits me right here.
Oh, they're still alive. I just love them very much, you know.
Oh, that's lovely.
Very sweet.
Sure, they'd like the axes and stuff. Yes.
They did love. They do love still a good axe, but in their day, they both swung a lot of axes around.
Yeah,
this felt good. I'd say
I'm glad we did
surprisingly well.
I feel like I don't really know you guys very well. I'm never in the library, and you're always walking around. It's good to hang out, you know?
Yes, maybe we can,
do it more often, maybe, when we're out of this.
I can make cheese on toast for everyone. It will be lovely.
Oh,
nice.
Cheese.
Yes. And you can read books and stuff, or drink hot milk.
Tea. I strongly recommend this.
I would love to try some tea. Most of my intake tends to be dairy based, so I could do with a bit of variety.
It's very good for soothing the stomach and the nerves. You might benefit from it.
Oh yes, I do get quite nervous, especially when people are walking around with axes. It's not very peaceful.
It's true.
Worst I ever had was a paper cut, to be honest. Nasty.
They're terrible. Hurt. Yeah. Anyway, shouldn't Fog could be getting here soon anyway? We did say where we were meeting, right? We did agree on a place. Did that happen?
Place.
Yes,
we agreed on a place.
Yeah, my memory isn't what it used to be.
They might have found something interesting, but yes, you would have thought they would have come and found us by now. So perhaps we should, with these nasty types of people about, investigate the situation.
Maybe we shouldn't have sent them off on their own.
Yes, actually, I was reading this book this morning called "Don't Split the Party."
No books.
I'll put it back in my pack.
Thank you.
The 3 of you know which shrine Fog was headed for, so you can follow them. So you can turn and make your way back towards that shrine. In the meantime, you're running towards the field of cows.
Yeah.
As you run up, there's a fence around it, just a wooden fence. There is a gate, or do you try and vault the fence?
I'm not going to try and jump over the fence. What do you think I am?
Oh yeah, you're 60, I forgot. So you're going to run around and try and open the gate.
Yeah.
Grand. You run around and open the gate. As you do... 14?
No.
An arrow goes right past you and lands in the gate next to you, and you hear again that slightly sort of giggling laughter of the
I
halfling
don't
rogue.
understand why you would laugh if you miss.
She's having fun. It's a chase. She likes a chase. And you can see her now walking out of the tree line and just knocking another arrow, just watching you with a kind of, go on, what have you got?
I would like to open the gate to the cow's field.
You do.
And say to the cows, look. This is a very serious situation, and some of you may die.
Inspiring speech.
But if not, I'm afraid I don't think the Abbey's going to be here much longer.
Oh no! One of the cows is listening really intently.
I know you're not normally very violent, and we have a lot of chats about not being violent, particularly you, Steve. However, on this occasion...
6 seconds then.
Don't rush me. Could I persuade you to please go and trample that irritating halfling back there?
Roll me a persuasion check on the cows.
Just one moo. Cow language works very differently.
Yeah, it's very compressed. It's like German, but...
Sorry.
That's all right.
This dice tray is bouncy.
It's okay.
That is a 17.
For you, Fog, anything. Come on, Steve. We know you've got it in you. And the big bull, Steve, around the back just just walks around and just starts charging out of the gate, and all the other cows are going to follow. And from the half of you hear a very vague, uh-oh. How fast can cows travel? How fast as the cow travels?
Cows can go 30 feet.
Yeah.
If the cow moves at least 20 feet straight towards the target and then hits it with a gore attack on the same turn, the target takes an extra 2d6 piercing.
Right, okay. She is going to regret being quite so cocky. Good. So can you make me first just make you one attack roll with Steve, as Steve is the first to charge in and try and literally bowl her over.
That's a natural one.
Oh, Steve! You learn too well. You learn too well the ways of peace.
Steve comes charging in, just and goes charging straight at her, and she does a very cool, flip over, spinning off the horn, and just lands on the far side. And the grins back. It's like, aha, a challenge.
I feel like that just
There's
makes
20
the
more
other
cows, right?
more
There aren't
angry.
20. There are 5 more cows.
Okay,
There are 6 total.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Don't shit with me, BB.
But that's D&D.
I have. Where's my little? Oh, there it is. It was too small. I couldn't see it. I have 5 d20s.
Perfect.
Yes.
One of those is a natural 20.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
2 of them are 3s. Right, so that's a 26,
I'm shitting hell.
a 16, and a 17.
A 26, a 16, and a 17. Yes, all 3 of them bowl through Lyda, the halfling rogue. The first one's just going to bowl straight through her. She does the first cool flip, the 2 3s, another cool flip, but lands awkwardly, slightly on her heel, and you get the slight feint of the smile going, uh-oh, as one of the cows just goes straight into
I'm
her.
just going to roll the natural 20 first.
Oh no, do that one last, because that will do that one with the charge. That will.
All of them get the charge.
All of them get the charge.
All of them get the charge. They all charged.
Stampede.
Fucking hell. Okay, right, good.
So 3, 2 hits. So I'm doing the natural 20 first because I've got the dice for it.
Cool. Just roll the natural 20 first and then roll me all the damages, all three of them.
That D6 cocked.
You have too many dice on your dice tray.
6. Another 6. That's 12. 13. Add 4, which is 17. That's 17.
Yep.
Then the other 2, which is another.
Yeah. Keep rolling. I want to see what happens. Oh my god.
That right, that's 18, 20, 23, add 4. That's 27. That's
Total?
another 27. That's all of it.
Hang on, 13 plus 27. 17 plus... Because you
17 plus 27.
The initial one
was
and then,
17.
and then another 27.
What is that, 44?
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, cool.
New fireball.
Don't piss off cows.
Cows.
You just hear a faint and suddenly like one cow just tramples straight over and then the others are just running. They're running away. They are just going to run out past some follies. They just go. They just all run. They all charge straight out of here. It was a cow and run, precisely. You can't see the halfling. If you walk over to where she was, she's not there. She must be sort of like hanging onto a cow somewhere. You have no idea. But Steve and his five buddies have all left the scene, and the halfling rogue is also gone.
Do we spot cows just passing us on the run?
As you're walking to the shrine of Mirabar, you do sort of see something like 4 or 5 cows in the distance. Just you do hear a faint in the distance.
Strange for the cows.
Must have been fog, right? Surely.
I mean, you hear a lot of cows, you think fog.
Usually, yes.
Oh.
Huh?
Oh. Yeah. Dog, you look hurt.
Oh yeah, bad.
Oh, and I'll immediately cast, or I'll go over.
Yeah.
Are we anywhere near the place where the baddies are?
You are next to the shrine, but you can still hear faint voices from beneath it, but you haven't gone in.
So quietly walk over to Fog and I'll cast Cure Wounds.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And I'll roll that for you. That is 7 points for you.
Thank you.
I know that doesn't do that much, but
Nice.
Did you add all the life cleric stuff onto that? Because there's a lot of life cleric stuff you add.
I must not have.
Ooh,
I think there's another 2 plus 1, another 3 on top of that, I reckon.
nice.
Is that right? Yeah, another 3 on top of that?
Yes.
Well, you add 2 for a healing spell because you're a life cleric, and then you add 1 for the spell level, which is a first level spell. So yeah,
plus 3 on top of that, so 10 points. Yeah.
I am back over half hit points.
I'd just like to mend the little rip in your leathers and just give it a little pat. There you go.
Thank you.
Then now it's good as new.
I did not like that little halfling, but thankfully the cows assisted.
You took care of that all on your own. Maybe we should send you back in to do the rest for us. Oh,
No.
okay.
No,
All right. Well, I thought you were so keen before.
no.
Maybe we should stick together from now on, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear anything?
Oh, I have temporarily forgotten everything that I heard in the excitement of releasing the cows.
Would you like me to recap what you heard?
There was something about pools finding something. They really wanted Podrin to find something that they felt was owed to them.
Would you like me to fill in what you know? No, that's probably what you know. That's fair.
It's not much new, is it?
Podrin said that he couldn't find the thing that they wanted because it was unfindable.
Well, they need a better filing system, to be honest. But yes.
Or maybe
Still need to...
also that it couldn't be sold. That you can't sell everything, which is true because you can't sell peace.
Sorry, that doesn't work for me. Surely they're not looking for, if they were looking for peace, they would have come in here and not attacked. I don't understand.
No, as in that they want something that Podrin has because they think they can sell it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Podrin has anything. Apart from,
never shared anything like that.
excellent wisdom and good tea, which they didn't want.
Very good tea.
Podrin has not spoken that much about his past as an adventurer. It's not come up.
Now that I think about it, he is quite secretive, isn't he?
Maybe
What
we
if
could
he is hiding something?
try and get him on his own.
It'd be good to get him away from the others.
I don't know if we're going to be able to do that unless someone's got something that could distract them.
Oh, I can be distracting. What would you like? Fireworks, candles, sounds of rats, running water. I don't
Yes.
anything.
All of it.
All of the above. Okay. I get to be a distraction. Excellent.
Are you all? What are you going to do? Are you going to head down into the shrine? Are you going to cause a distraction above the ground? What are you going to do?
I guess probably trying to cause a distraction above the shrine in the hope that they'll exit.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least one of them will exit, and maybe we can try and, cow another one, but without the cows.
Do you have any other big animals up your sleeve?
No, I've got some koi. They're rather large.
Might come in useful later in the story.
Are there any small animals around?
I've got some smaller koi.
Small koi. Right.
It's good to
You're
have
currently
backup.
standing outside this folly dedicated to this dwarven war, and you can still hear the sort of voices from below. In fact, can all four of you roll me an investigation check?
Can it be perception?
No.
No.
Natural one.
Yeah.
13.
Natural 20
13.
plus nothing. 20.
Nice.
All of you listen. You can still hear the voices coming from below. Fog, with a natural 20. After you listen for a bit, the voices are on loop.
What? Blankin,
Yes.
I know you're better at this kind of thing than me, but do you think those voices are maybe repeating themselves?
Now that Fog says it, you can all hear it. This is a conversation that appears to be repeating itself.
Is it the same conversation that you overheard earlier, Fog?
Yes, largely. I mean, it's a lot of, go on, look for things. I'm looking for things. Oh, do it faster. Like, there's a lot of that sort of thing around it.
Is it exactly the same conversation?
It's the exact same
that's
conversation repeating, yes.
So does it sound like it's an illusion that someone's put there?
Yes.
Oh.
You saw through the illusion. That's what that is.
Oh. Maybe we
Well,
could
do you
go
think
down
we
there.
should- Yeah. It might
Should
be
we-
a... Yes.
Could be a trap.
Well, yes, trap. That's what I was thinking. I'm very eloquent sometimes, but sometimes I can't think of the words. But yes, you're right. It might be a trap. Should we
Someone
look
want to
though?
volunteer?
I will go.
What
I'll
if
be...
it's a trap?
Well, we've got to look.
Well, you have a bird.
Yes, I can send Hawkins. Okay.
Hawkins. Yeah.
Hawkins, you go in there and you see if there's anybody in there and if it's a trap or not, okay? And then you let us know. Fly! I like to say that. It's what they say in the adventure stories.
Can you see through Hawkins' eyes? You can, can't you?
I can indeed, yes.
Cool. As Hawkins flies down, there's nothing. The base of this, the stairs come down into the center of this pool and this sort of little walking space with a small fenced-in area where you can walk, and the pool does extend all the way to the far edges of this underground cavern. It's about 20 foot wide. It's not big, but it is like all water, and the water feature pools through the middle and then clearly flushes out to the rest of the outside. As Hawkins flies in, it looks empty. You can hear the voices echoing out, but there's no one there.
Can I identify where the voices are coming from?
Sure. Can you roll a perception check for Hawkins, please?
Yes, that is with advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness. That is a 19.
Cool. These sounds are coming from a point in the center of this room. They're just repeating. What Hawkins also sees with a roll that high is there are small, like, access grills, access tunnels at various points. And you lot have been around the different follies. You know that because they're actually more modern, they do have access tunnels. And the whole thing, the plumbing and irrigation system here is actually quite complex and has all been interlinked with, all the follies interlinked with each other. And the door to the sort of access hatch on the far side through the water has slightly ajar.
I shall snap back out of it and relay that information. Well, yes, it is an illusion. It doesn't seem to be a trap, although, of course, Hawkins didn't step on the ground. But the access hatch to one of the other follies is open. So I think that's probably where they've gone, because they don't seem clever enough, really, to be all mysterious about their happenings, apart from, obviously, this illusory sound.
Yeah.
Do you know which door it was? Can you tell which way they were going? Maybe we could cut them off on the surface.
Can I tell?
Yes, you would know which folly that heads to next. And again, it's the Cormyrean one.
Yeah, it's to the Cormyrean one. Yes, perhaps we should go by overground. Otherwise, we'll be splitting the party again, and I don't think that's a good idea.
Damn. You avoided my trap. Good. The four of you... Oh, it was a cruel one too. Yeah. The four of you are moving above ground, moving towards the Cormyrean shrine. At the Cormyrean shrine, you again hear voices. Are the four of you stealthing up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably wise, yeah.
Can I cast Pass Without Trace?
Of course you can.
It lasts for an hour.
Yeah, it's not concentration. It's concentration, isn't it?
It is concentration, but it lasts for an hour.
Okay.
That's a plus 10, right?
Yep.
Everyone gets a plus 10.
29.
I did that. I had a
29.
6 before, and now I have a 16.
16, thank you.
Mine's a 31.
A 32.
Show off.
What was the lowest? A 16?
16. Sorry, everyone.
As the four of you sneak over towards the shrine, you can hear three voices talking, and you also hear unmistakably the sound of a punch. Are you moving closer?
Oh no.
Can we just briefly take a second to check that this isn't another illusory sound thing?
Sure, on investigation checks. You'd be wise to the idea that the wizard's probably an illusionist now.
Ho, 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 natural 20.
Oof.
23.
Nice.
13.
14.
13.
With a natural 20, again, this time, Hara, you're the one who listens out and goes, no, that's definitely real. That's not an illusion. You can sense that it continues. It's not got a looping quality to it.
It's them. It's them.
Is there anything anyone can do to make Hara a little bit quieter?
Yes.
I'm not sure I like where this is going.
Well, I've got this rope.
Got about 25 meters left, right?
Yeah, definitely.
No, magically, though, not. I'm not going to physically. You're not my type.
Yes, I don't think I follow, but
It's okay.
happy with the outcome.
I will cast guidance. I forget. Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, you finally use guidance. It's good. An hour and a half into the adventure. It's great.
To the shoulder. Is this okay? And then poke you.
Oh, yes. Roll then bones. Push the button. It is a 3, so that takes me to a 19.
Good, because someone's got a passive of 17. You realise that Hara is now a little bit quieter, and all of you are moving towards the folly. And you get a glimpse. You can see, sort of at a slightly high level, you can see over, and Jezan, the human, is now standing in the pool with Podrin, and has just punched Podrin, who is now sort of staggering in the pool, blood curling from the lip. The elf wizard is watching this whole situation, but also sweeping the area, keeping an eye on things, making sure no one else approaches. I grow tired, old man. Where is it? I told you it's not something I can just find. Magic didn't work. Looks like violence isn't working. Mia, maybe you could go back and find someone else we could, I'm not sure how much if you can take it yourself, that's fine, but maybe watching someone else get hit a few times might be a problem for you. Look, I'm trying my best. I'm telling you, it's here, but I don't know where. I'm trying to find it. Please, I don't know what you think you're going to do with it. It's mine. It's mine by right. And I want it. You give it back. Whatever you can do it now. And as Josen sort of gets slightly more angry and more irate, you can see there's a strange quality to his armor. Like, it seems to almost blacken slightly, especially the gauntlets blacken slightly.
Okay. We should probably do something about this.
We should make him give it up and put it into the pool.
Yes.
I mean, he is standing in the pool, just...
Are either of them within 30 feet?
Yeah, they're all... You snuck up to within 30 feet.
And would Gust, the cantrip Gust, would that be feasibly like a strong wind, or is that always like, this is magic?
To cast magic, you have to say words and move your hands around, and verbal and somatic components. So it would break your stealth roll. Yes.
Okay.
What if you used a cantrip that didn't use verbal components?
Go on.
Well, they're standing in water.
Correct.
Shape water uses somatic components only.
As does minor illusion.
Yeah, as does minor illusion.
Okay. How do you want to shape the water?
That's a good question.
You don't have a plan.
As a sort of, I guess, a diversionary, distractionary tactic, Blanken is going to change the color of the water. Maybe.
It's a 5-foot cube. You change a 5-foot cube of water into a different color.
Can you not lift it up and make it look like Eldath?
You could animate it.
I could just create an illusion of Eldath.
I mean, they have an illusionist there.
A small illusion.
5-foot tall Eldath. What are you doing in my waters?
I could, I guess, create the symbol of Eldath in the water or out of the water.
I mean, the symbol of Eldath is a pool of water, so good luck creating a pool of water symbol in a pool of water. But
I mean, that's Blanken thinking naturally. Yeah.
No, verbal.
Tell you what, this feels like a good point while you're in this position, because also I should say that Josan is going to, as Podrin sort of potters around trying to work out what to do, Josan is going to reach back with the fist, and the hand is just going to blacken again slightly, so almost like blackened gauntlet growing over the already chainmail gauntlet that's there, and it's going to launch him for another hit. However, I will say it's a good point for a pause, because you could all be casting something, doing something before that punch hits.
Absolutely.
So just as the hand is reached back and you'll tell me, old man, and you all go and start to do things, that's where we'll take our break. Thank you, everybody. That's the first half of Abbey of Eldath. Join us in about 5-10 minutes for the second half. Thank you, and see you in a sec. Bye. And we're back. Hello, everyone. Sorry, David just told a joke, and it was a good one. Right, where were we? You are in the Abbey of Eldath, the waters of Eldath, and you four monks of Eldath are trying desperately to stop some murder hobo adventurers from ruining your peaceful existence. So far, you've managed to tie a dwarf fighter upside down from the ceiling, and you've managed to get a halfling rogue torn asunder and run away by a whole field of cows. You are now in one of the folly water features of the Abbey, where your master Podrin, Elder Podrin, is being punished repeatedly by a human Jozan, who I won't say what class they are yet. And Jozan is trying to get something from Podrin, clearly something that he thinks belongs to him from some previous experiences of Podrin's, but you don't know, haven't quite pieced all that together yet. Jozan's elf wizard friend is also there. There we go. Good, right?
just here.
Just there. She's watching the area. She's trying to make sure that no one sneaks up on this, but she has a very poor passive perception. Good, right. The four of you have watched from your hidden alcove, where past that trace has allowed you to stealth into this situation quite successfully. Jozan's about to punch Podrin again. Some of you were going to do things. What would you like to do?
I would like to cast Levitate on Podrin.
If you cast Levitate, it has verbal and somatic components. You'll become visible.
Yes, but I think we're about to become visible anyway. Am I correct?
I think that's the way it's going.
I think it's time to reveal ourselves.
So
punch Podrin.
What I will do is remove Podrin from the range of punching.
So you suddenly levitate Podrin, who starts floating out of the water and is now floating 20 feet above this water feature, just a pool in the center of some quite beautiful elven architecture that looks faux old. It's not actually old, it's a folly. As you do this, you are very visibly casting, and the elf wizard will see you turn, and Jozan will look confusedly and hear the chanting and turn and see you, not the other three, unless I decide to do anything about that.
Gonna do things.
We are currently before initiative, and you all have the drop on them because they had no idea you were there. Is there anything anyone else wants to do before we roll initiative?
Yes. Do you want to go first, George?
I was going to say, do you want to go first, Phoebe? Passing it up the chain.
All these peaceable monks.
No,
you, after you. I insist.
That's our action. That's just what I
lose the round.
After you.
After you.
I think we'll find out the elements of surprise.
Just because I'm a woman.
Just because you're playing a woman. What would you like to do?
I will cast Calm Emotions.
On whom?
On all of them? Are they the two of them? Are they in a 20-foot radius?
Sphere? Yeah, I'd say they're in a 20-foot sphere. You can cast Calm Emotions on both of them. That's
Excellent.
fine.
So that is a DC 13 charisma check.
Charisma saving throw. The elf wizard rolls a 2 and has no modifier. So what does Calm Emotions do to her? How does that work?
The effect I'm choosing is you can make a target indifferent about creatures of your choice that it is hostile towards.
Okay.
So that will include all of us.
Yeah. So she turns aggressively, reaching for spell components or something similar. You're not sure, but as you cast this, she just stops and doesn't quite know why she would be doing anything. Jozan, there we go, rolls a. It's a charisma saving throw. That's a 16.
That saves.
That's more than that's a 21.
Yeah.
Sorry, cleric. He realizes something's going on, looks around, and just snarls angrily. What are the other two of you doing? So
that you can't attack its pals technically now.
Yeah, I will possibly just stay put for now. I think I'm gonna.
You're about 30 feet away from them, and you are slightly raised as well. So I'm going to say 30 feet away and about 5-10 foot up, sort of slightly on one. Like there's a slight dip in the ground, which this folly shrine sits in.
Okay, I'm just going to sort of scuff the earth with my feet enough to turn up like a pebble or some sort of small rock.
Okay,
just to have it there for now.
You use your surprise action to scuff the earth to find a small pebble.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, grand.
I would like to use minor illusion, improved minor illusion, to create an image of the halfling rogue
I mean, she is small enough to fit inside a 5-foot cube.
Absolutely, as definitely that 5-foot cube. Blenkin's very familiar with 5-foot cubes. He read a book on it.
It's called 5-foot cubes and you, and the illusionist stream.
Awkwardly shaped book.
Blenkin does not have that much hands-on experience of tying people up, so this will be a slightly cartoonish quality. Of the halfling rogue being sort of, like in a spaghetti western, sort of bound and with the thing there. So it's like not threatening at all, but it's like Blenkin's like, I'm a hero, and just the image is that, and the sounds that you hear is.
Where is this image appearing?
Down in the image itself. The idea is that the heroes will see that we have their friend and therefore parley.
Hang on. So she's the image is next to you.
It's so where we are in relation to them, I'd have it sort of appear as if we'd all come down together.
Have you all stepped? Oh, so you've not all stepped down together. You're all standing on a slight rise. You've all sort of stood up on a slight rise.
Oh, okay, understood. In which case, down. I guess I walk down into the place and have the image kind of next to me. Yeah.
And have you got your hands raised? Is it kind of like you being peaceful? It's
like let's just calm down and talk about this, please.
Grand. Okay, lovely. That is your actions on the surprise round. I think this also warrants a moment of pause because Jozan is also going to pause, having seen all of this happening and seen that Mealy's out for the count. You all right, Lida? It's an investigation check, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
DC 14.
Thank you. All right. It's a 17 on the dice. It's a 16. It's not particularly smart. Raises an eyebrow, looks at you, looks at the whole situation, looks at Podrin floating 20 feet above him. Look, I don't want to hurt any of you particularly.
Good, that's the first step. Listen to that instinct. See, being here, you're learning.
He's going to, his hands sort of move together and this sort of black ball of energy forms in them, and a large gauntleted fist will sort of appear in the air next to where Podrin is.
Oh.
I can move Podrin another 20 feet up.
The spiritual weapon can move 20 feet in a round. Either you let me get on with what I need to do, or I'm killing the old man.
Maybe we can help.
Kill the old man? Why would you want to do that?
With whatever it is you want to do.
All right. Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
I tried to hide my like disdain of this like young, naive person.
Look, maybe you know. You heard of the Chalice of Peace?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, one of you roll a deception check with advantage.
What's your charisma like, BB?
It's all right. Let's deception +2.
Mine's +3.
Okay, you roll that.
With advantage.
Okay. That's a 14.
Does this cleric have good insight? Let's see.
Probably.
No.
I have a +7 to insight with this character. I rolled a 6.
Yeah.
Right. Good. Well, take me there.
Yes, of course. We will just need to go to the other folly where the koi are. It's very important to feed the koi to retrieve the chalice.
And they can feel your intentions.
They can feel your intentions.
Whatever. Basically, the big gauntleted fist is going to, in game terms, grapple. Well, it can't, but it's going to be sort of next to Podrin going, any funny business, and he's gone. Release my friend.
What do you mean release? I'm not holding her.
Someone starts a spell on her. Because she's just standing there going, what? I'm sorry, is something...
The Abbey, this is what the Abbey does to you.
She won't be able to come with you. Only one person alone can retrieve the chalice.
The path to peace is walked alone.
Agreed.
I mean, rolled low on the deception check. On the insight check, sorry. Fine. But I'm taking the old man with me as insurance.
Well, I mean, he's up there now. I suppose we could toss him some rope and pull him with us.
What?
Well, he's going to be up there for 10 minutes now.
Bring him down so he can walk.
Like, I can't.
Roll another deception check. This is a second lie. Yeah. This is a different lie now.
Big old lie.
He's not very good at the whole magic thing yet. He's working on it. They're working on it. Apologies.
That's a 10.
Yeah, drop the spell. I'm wise to this sort of thing.
I suppose I could try to release Podrin.
Podrin sort of floats down and back into the water. I'm going to drop an old man in the water, for fuck's sake.
Levitate doesn't anyway. It releases slowly.
Okay, so you release slowly and Podrin comes back down. The black gauntleted fist just stays with him. And it's now...
How about a trade?
You should release your spell, guys. You won't be able to retrieve the
Chalice.
The word chalice appears on the wall, written on the
I mean, it only lasts a minute anyway, but I can snap his neck like a twig if you're screwing with me.
That won't help you retrieve the chalice.
Podrin stays there as Jozan walks over and sort of grabs hold of his arm and throws him out, and he sort of stumbles out of the water, and Jozan gets out of the water too. Okay, so you're telling me I can't go if I'm angry, I can't go and have Podrin, and you're not going to release my friend?
It's not us. We don't decide the koi that they'll notice that you're upset or angry. Are you upset? Are you angry or upset?
What's it to you?
It's not me. Again, it's the koi.
All right. Different one then. I'll take Podrin here back to the Abbey. You get the chalice and bring it to me. How's that?
Well, you see, we've made a solemn oath never to take the chalice.
Well, if I can't take it because I'm too angry, then you're going to have to take it. And all of you seem very calm.
What if we take Podrin and you take your friend back to the Abbey?
Do you need Podrin to get it? I mean, what are you talking about here? And then also, I haven't got a hostage, and there's no reason you'd come back to me.
Podrin is the calmest, and therefore most able to retrieve the chalice.
Then one of you has to come with me as a hostage.
I will do it.
All right, then. Shoves Podrin towards the three of you. You, come here. And you release my friend.
Have we walked at this point? Have we walked anywhere, or are we still
No, we're still all standing in the same place. Still the same standoff.
Fine, it's been a minute anyway since...
Oh, okay.
Probably around.
Nearly shakes her head and just realizes what's happened and looks pretty pissed off about it. Well, if we can't come with you to retrieve it, then... what's your name?
Who?
Hara.
Hara.
If you're not there in 5 minutes, I'll start pulling out beard hairs, I guess.
The path to peace takes more than 5 minutes.
It's a whole ritual.
Okay. We're quite far away from anything else here, so I don't think you can get that much help. An hour.
Great.
Yes.
And Mia's going to keep an eye on you. You can do that, can't you? Yeah. Good. Right, come on you. Grabs Hara by the arm and starts walking back towards the Abbey.
Can I insight check that? Wait, is he leaving the wizard with them?
I know the wizard's going to come with him.
Okay. But she said that they between them have said that they can keep an eye on the rest.
Yes.
Of them. Can I insight check that?
Would that mean like a? Can I insight check that as well?
You can. Insight's per individual. Yes, you can both roll insight checks on this.
Boop. That is a 22.
That's a natural 20 for a 26.
She clearly has access to some magic that lets her see things that aren't nearby.
Okay.
But yeah, she sort of walks away looking behind her while Jozan's sort of pushing Hara forward back towards the
all right,
complex.
I can walk.
All right, fine.
Can we at least go via the kitchen so we can get some more tea?
No.
Is
And-
that for a reason, or are you just being petty?
Shut up.
Fair enough.
The three of them walk off back towards the Abbey, and the four of you are left to enter the space. Podrin sort of awkwardly, I'm so terribly sorry about all of this. It's my fault. This is past coming back to haunt me, I suppose.
That's quite all right, Podrin. We should be careful, however, what we reveal to them, as I'm sure they can still see us.
It's not a secret.
If I talk in Gnomish,
Of all things.
does Podrin? I assume that Blanken understands me. Does Podrin seem to speak the beautiful language?
What do you say in Gnomish?
I'll say, Podrin, do you speak Gnomish?
And in Gnomish, Podrin responds back, I speak a great many languages. Do you think they don't?
Worth a try?
I suppose it might be. I really, it's not a secret. I'm not saying anything Jozan doesn't know.
All right. Well, tell us then, switching back to common. What can you tell us that might help
Well,
our ritual with the koi?
yes, our ritual with the koi.
Don't say it like that, man. Come on.
Look, when I was a younger adventurer, me and three allies, four of us, we were in a terrible accident. I got shot by an arrow, points at his knee, and damn it. And the others were also very badly hurt. And we were in a strange underground temple. We didn't know what it was. And we grabbed the nearest thing that we could and fled. And it was this beautiful chalice. And I only found out afterwards it was a holy symbol of Eldath, and that we had stumbled into the wrong temple, that we had made an error, that we shouldn't have retrieved this object in the way that we did. And she came to me and asked me to atone, and this has been my atonement for 40 years now. 50 years. Time flies.
And I assume that they wish to have the chalice.
Yes, it is. I suppose it is. I didn't tell the others I was leaving. I just took it and left.
So it wasn't given to you by his dad?
No, he was one of the adventurers I was traveling with who they thought they had a share in it. They thought it was their share of the treasure. Often the way when we were younger, dividing up treasure, trying to find ways to split a gold piece, you know what it's like.
I'm not a master of Eldath's teachings like you are, but would Eldath not prefer that we gave them the chalice? I mean, surely a chalice is not worth more than all of our lives.
The problem. The chalice itself is not magical at all. It was the thing within the waters of Eldath when you're looking at it.
Well, they don't know that. We could just give them the chalice.
They may know that now. And also, the chalice itself is worthless. It would be disingenuous to try and pretend that this was the thing that I had to return. Do I need to return the waters to Jozan? I'm not sure.
Why can't we give them the chalice with some of the water in it? These are the waters of Eldath.
I don't know. It's potentially possible. We could find any other way of giving them the water, frankly, but I would feel dishonest if I was drawing the wool over their eyes in any way. This is partly my atonement to make.
Can we not explain it to them?
I tried. He wasn't particularly interested. He wants to sell it and I get his share.
Well, he can sell the water, a small amount. if he wants his share.
But it's just water.
Well, that's boo-hoo for him.
And then Hara will get hurt. I don't really have a solution here. I'm sorry. I don't really know what to do.
Well, maybe. I mean, I'm not an expert, but could you call their families?
I'm sorry?
Could you call their families? Look, their children, they're being awful. Could you call their parents?
Josen's father's dead.
What about the other ones?
I don't know the other ones. They're not the children of the other adventurers. It's just Josen.
What about his mother?
I never met her.
Or other dad.
Also a possibility, but I never met him either.
Worth a try.
Could we call his spirit? I know sometimes some people have that magic. I don't.
Speak with the dead. I mean, I do not have that ability either, but I might be able. Look, the chalice itself is in one of the pools, and also it moves. It never stays stationary. So trying to find it's going to be extremely difficult. We need someone who has a knowledge of these pools greater than any of us. And
like a koi.
Sorry?
Like a koi.
I suppose we could ask the fish.
I mean, I know the chalice holds importance to you, but I do feel like Eldath would not look poorly on us for giving it away.
I feel like I am continuing to fail Eldath, and this is just another of my many failings.
None of us will be here if you weren't here.
Perhaps if we try and find the chalice itself, maybe asking the koi is a good idea, and see what that brings us in the long run.
I'll be honest, I was thinking about poisoning them with koi food, but you're probably right.
Oh no, violence is never the answer.
We should probably let you know that we did.
No. We did nothing. First of all,
What happened?
We did loose the cows on. Well, I loosed the cows on one of them.
That is a terrible shame. Are the cows all right?
They appear to be fine.
Well,
I may have to do some work on them to, retrain the calm instincts.
Well, I agree. Not fantastic, but needs must sometimes. It's understandable, I think. Eldath is not for violence, but Eldath is also understanding of the way of nature, so there will be some understanding there, I presume. Let's go to the koi pond. I agree. Let's try and find out if they can guide us towards the chalice. It's probably the best solution.
I can show you the hand movement you need to make to ask the koi to look for the chalice, and then we can split up and all ask different koi ponds.
Fantastic. Sounds good to me.
Excellent.
All four of you move off towards the crown, the shrine folly to the crown walls, where the koi are. Hara, you are being prodded back to the abbey. The front door is still open. There's no one there. Josen, sit down.
Yes, I do so.
Mia, give me your rope. And
is that really necessary? I'm an old dwarf. Look at me.
roll a persuasion check.
Sure. Push the button. Push the button. Push the button. That is a 22.
Ooh!
Fine. Just sit. And Josen's going to sit, and you've noticed that Melia's entire walk has been sort of slightly glazed over and holding onto Josen's arm, and has now sat down, still slightly glazed over, and is just watching. What are they doing? They're going to talk to some carp about where to find it. Yep, that makes a lot of sense.
Which of the follies are they at?
Onto the Crown Wars. Why?
Oh, that is the best one, you know. It's all in the architecture, the shapes. They're so even and smooth. It's beautiful. You should. Did you look at it when you were out there?
No.
No, I suppose not. You should take a look while you're here.
Josen sits down sort of in front of you across the table.
Yeah.
So it's really just peace, is it?
What is? This?
All of this. Just
yes.
Peace.
Yes.
It's not the old man trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes about something.
Have you got that impression from this place?
He's not trustworthy. He's a thief.
When have you met him before?
I knew him briefly when I was younger.
How long ago was that?
About 20 years.
He's had a lot of time to change. People do. You find that when you get older. You've changed, probably. Were you always this? This?
Wasn't always this, but I found a calling. I found a purpose, and that purpose is to get what's mine by right.
And do you think this will still matter to you in a decade or 2 or 3?
I will have other things that are mine by then.
You mean possessions, things, or other callings?
Whatever I feel is mine, I have all rights to take. The strong take from the weak.
Ah. Yes, I'd hoped it would be different.
Well, you seem to be totally enamored with this idea then. It's just peace, eh? Nothing matters.
I wouldn't say I'm enamored with it. It just is. It's simpler. It's easier. You act like I've always been this way and haven't come to find this over time.
What were you before this?
I was in politics. Got tired of it. And found this, and I was skeptical at first, but you put the time in and you find that other things matter more.
Sure.
Really hope for you. I do. And I hope that not too many others have to pay the price for your learning something.
Gets up, walks away. Just pacing, just waiting. Mealy's going to sit there, focusing on the clairvoyant spell. Right. The 4 of you, the other 3 of you plus Podrin, are heading towards the koi pond in the middle of the Crown Wars Folly Shrine. The koi are swimming around. Beautiful day, as always.
Hello, friends.
Oh, hello.
Did you enjoy the food? Was it good? You look very shiny.
Excellent. A lovely day.
Ah, yes. Well, you see, you might be able to help us. We're looking for something very specific. It's a sort of Blenkin. What was it called?
Chalice of Chalice. Peace. Chalice. Peace. Chalice. Peace. Chalice. Chalice of Peace.
The Chalice of Peace, yes.
It's a peace, chalice, peace,
Just a chalice. Just the Chalice of Peace.
A chalice of peace. Sort of like a cup.
Ooh. What sort of cup? There's lots of cups in these waters.
Could you describe it to me?
It's not particularly ornate. It is solid silver, and it doesn't have just a flat, almost like a sort of almost like an altar piece.
Creating an illusion, as Podrin describes the chalice, kind of like an identifit.
Slightly more curvature on it, yeah, and sort of start going through and making it as it goes.
It looks sort of like that thing that the big gnome is making it up there. Can you see that? Do you need it in the water?
No, I can see it fine. Why do you want it?
Well, there are some people here who don't really understand peace.
Oh.
And they believe that chalice belongs to them. And if they don't have the chalice, they're possibly going to hurt at least one of our friends, if not all of us. In fact, they've already hurt me quite a lot. We've come to the decision that it might be better just to give them the chalice and let them carry on than to attempt to keep it.
If you give them the chalice, how will they learn?
Well, but if them learning involves us dying...
Do you really think they can't be turned around?
They have so far seemed very implacable.
Do you not think they could be dissuaded in some other way? Do we really have to give up something that has given us so much?
I mean, if you really don't want to give up the chalice, I suppose we could just go and die. But
That seems a very negative approach.
Well, you haven't spoken to these people, and they're really not for talking.
No, but I'm aware of them.
You're very deep today, Koi.
Who do you think you're speaking to?
My friend, the Koi.
The Koi does a little shimmy through the water, like almost. It looks like laughter. You get a visible sense of laughter. Those around you can see like the conversation with the Koi is happening, and you're all starting to hear the conversation in the backs of your minds, and you can almost take part in the conversation strangely. Like something about this innate ability to talk to animals appears to be shifting slightly into something a bit less animalistic.
And speak Koi.
But you do start to hear the voice in your head.
But it's like, it goes from blub, blub, blub to words. It's funny.
It is funny, isn't it? Podrin sort of sits down and sort of kneels a little and like just quite reverent, quite just sort of taking all of this in.
Why have the fish words become mind words?
Are you suggesting that when I've been feeding the Koi, I've not been feeding the Koi?
No, you've been feeding the Koi. I'm just inhabiting the Koi for now. It seemed like an important moment to step in.
That's quite reassuring, because I have very inane conversations with the Koi.
And they love you for it.
Can I use this moment sort of to cast augury?
Of course you can.
As a prayer to Eldath.
Of course you can, absolutely.
Sort of within that conversation, using the spell to ask if there is a way to, through communicating with them peacefully, convince them to not take the chalice and leave the Abbey and Podrin alone. If that will give us good results or not.
Cool. As you start, it takes a minute to cast. So as you start casting it, what are you using to cast it? Are you using, like, it doesn't have to be like what's in the book. Like, what are you doing to cast this spell?
I will put my hand in the water and take a little bit of the water and cup it in my hand, and then just use it to kind of I'm feeling really warm and upset, and I'm just like calming myself down and putting it on my wrists and using that to pray to Eldath.
Cool. I'll come back to you in a sec on that. Look, do I think that the chalice is worth people getting hurt? No, I do not. Do I think that there's a lesson that can be learned by all of you from this? Yes, I do. And as you start dabbing the water on your hands, you feel this sense of calm, this sense of quietude, this sense of actually there's no need to give them what they want, because what they want isn't good for anyone else. And actually peaceful, calm, quiet, maybe some trickery, maybe some tomfoolery, something a bit off the beaten track might be the way to end this situation over, frankly, the bloodshed that will come of giving them this.
Right. Well, I understand now more your desire to talk to the Koi every morning. First of all, I'm not always the Koi, Aoife. Don't ruin it. Just I'm trying to have a mom and air. You're ruining it.
My apologies.
Thank you. Just stay out of it. Fog. I never understood this moment of peace that you seem to find with the Koi and the cows and the squirrels and the hamsters and all the other animals. I never got it. I think I get it now. And I think we should pursue a different direction.
Okay.
Blanken?
Yes, I'm still slightly confused about the fish mind words, but yes. Different direction. Well, we could go north, east, south, west. Small animals on the compass. Yes. different things, not give them the chalice. We could just give them a mug.
I don't think that'll work. Somehow, I think we have to play it smart. Not my forte personally, but you're a very smart man.
Yes, books. Read a lot of books.
You know a lot about a lot of things.
Podrin gets up and sort of nods politely, and then turns to Blanken and goes, "I think it's maybe time for some illusions, don't you think?"
Yes.
Splendid. What is your plan? What would you like to do? How do you want to resolve this situation?
Well, I think Blanken should take the front row seat on this and be our leader for the following plan.
Yes. Well, I can create the image of the god, or a dragon going rah, or we could take a cup and we could make it look like it's magic, and then they get it far enough away, and then it turns out it's not magic, and then the joke's on them.
That one.
They'll come back though.
That's a good point.
I think we need to get them to change their mind somehow. Maybe they could speak to Eldath.
Maybe they could go to bed, and then we could all be illusioned as 3 ghosts and come and tell them about how they need to find peace.
Simplify that.
I don't think they're going to go to sleep.
What if they don't sleep?
Right.
How can we simplify it?
Okay, so we can be pretending to be ghosts and of people who have tried to get
Ghost
the chalice.
Ghost of the father.
Yes!
Ghost of the father.
Yes.
Podrin knows what the father's voice sounded like.
Yes.
He came by. He was angry, but he understood. I could potentially. I could try and give you a sense of it, Blinken.
Yes, please, and a little bit of a sense of what he looked like as well.
Shame. No, sorry, I didn't say shame, but maybe we could make him feel shame. Sorry.
I'm a wizard. I will make him feel shame.
I'm sorry. I'm still quite affected by the cow encounter. I do think they should feel ashamed.
And what are we going to do about Hera?
I could make it rain in. I mean, they came looking for the waters of Eldath. I could make it rain.
They came looking for the Chalice of Eldath.
Yeah.
Got an idea for Hera. Thoughts like I could make the rope trick, which is where I go to normally read my books when I want private, and then I could levitate Hera up into the rope trick room so that they couldn't see him, and then we could do the thing with the dad and the shame, and then that would be they would go, and then we could go back to having cheese on toast and reading, and that would be very nice.
Yep. It's almost time for my nap.
What are we gonna say from the dad? I feel like we should script
rehearsal.
We can pretend we've written a script so that you can like say it in the moment, David, because I'm sure you've got something. But
just a reminder to all you, the wizard's still watching you.
Oh my god.
Alternatively,
switch to Gnomish.
Can I be? The wizard can't hear me either, so I can't distract her with the name.
Hang on, I'm checking how long clairvoyance lasts.
I think so. I don't think you can move it.
You can.
You can't move it.
You can't move it. I think you faced it on a person.
Oh no! I thought that's a place. Scrying can be a person. I think clairvoyance can only be a place.
Clairvoyance is much less.
I'm going to check because I'm not 100%.
So does that mean that they'll have seen that the koi is Eldath?
We'll find out in a second because rules is rules.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I mean, also, Ifa is definitely not smart enough to have remembered that, so it's totally in character.
They were like, shame. You're clearly not my father.
Yeah.
Sorry, still finding it.
So that's the distraction plan. Gnomish, the real plan.
The hardest thing I've ever had to do with a god who was in the form of a fish and not telling us the whole story was to not make a pun about playing koi. Hardest.
Restrained.
Yes, the sensor remains in place for the duration. Okay, so she probably cast it over the shrine that you were going to because you said where you were going. So you could move away from this shrine and make plans perfectly easily. That's fine.
Let's hope we did.
I'm going to say you've moved away from the shrine, otherwise it becomes a very dull ending, doesn't it?
So while I'm there, I'm trying to distract her as much as possible, which is like
Will never end.
I'm trying to make it just inane conversation, still talking about the architecture and the follies, each one in laborious detail, because I know them very well. And I don't know.
If you do, he's going to tell you to shut up repeatedly, and if you don't, it's probably going to get nasty. It's up to you.
I'll push it as far as I can.
Let's go back to that. Let's go. While you lot are hatching a plan, Hara, you are trying to distract Merely.
Does clairvoyance work that she can see? She can't see. Can she see or hear me? Which is it one or the other? I think it's one or the other at a time.
You can choose seeing or hearing. You can choose the chosen sense through the sense if you're in the space. So you actually can switch between seeing and hearing. So she can switch between them.
Okay, so I'm clearly trying to talk to her, and when she's not responding, I'm like, just
what do you want?
Try to. I was hoping to get some more tea, or any tea really. It's been hours.
Shut up! Comes from across the room.
Oh come on! We thought we were past that. We're just sitting here waiting.
Sit quietly.
Well, can I have some tea? It helps me keep my mouth occupied, stop me having to talk because I have delicious tea.
If you don't sit quietly, don't make me do something. I will.
I'm not making you do anything. It's all you. We've established that by now. This is all you.
He steps over to you. She's doing something important, okay? And if I don't know what's going on with your friends, I don't know how long I have to keep you alive.
Do you need to kill me at all?
Will you stop talking?
Can I have some tea? It's much simpler.
Roll a persuasion check.
Yeah. That is a 19. Well on that today.
Fine. Mia, go make tea. But I'm watching. I'm trying to follow them. It's quite hard to follow them. Go and make tea. Fine. She gets up, goes to the kitchen, comes back about 5 minutes later with a pot, and it's hot water. It's like she can't learn how to make tea. Hot water with some stuff in it, and plonks it down.
I sip it and just do the comic spit take of the stuff. You're going to get upset if I ask for better tea, aren't you?
He reaches out and touches you and casts Bestow Curse.
Yeah, fair.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom save. Natural 20, making 22.
The hand, glowing black hand, just reaches out and just clasps hold of your shoulder. Be silent.
You could have just asked. Tell you what, I will go to the kitchen. I will come back here with better tea leaves, and I will be quiet.
Mia, keep watching them. Follows you into the kitchen as you make tea.
I will do it. I will slow roll it, but I will do it. No fun with this. You sure you don't want a cup?
I don't want any of your damn tea.
All that shouting must make your voice very parched. You sound parched.
Are you finished making your tea?
Yes.
Will it keep you quiet?
Yes.
Drags you through, sits you down. Drink your damn tea. He's going to keep pacing the hallway, waiting.
Well, I'm happy for now. That's good.
The four of you, would now have moved away from the shrine for expediency, if nothing else. So, what is the plan? What are you going to do?
Right. Boy, I'm glad we remembered that someone was watching us. No disasters otherwise.
Would have been very embarrassing indeed.
Yeah. So
Blenkin, you're going to be point on the father shame plan.
Yes, I can do that.
I can either make it rain, or make the earth shake, or heal people, or make it windy.
I can be on healing people, so you can do something more interesting. It wasn't my choice to be a cleric.
Could probably add some pyrotechnics to the equation. Nothing like a good shaming and sparks. Having
good old-fashioned shame sparks.
Have I been told anything about him that only his father would know?
Well, if I don't know it, then how would your illusion know? No, Jozan was born in Waterdeep. Beyond that, I don't know a huge amount about his upbringing or childhood. His father, Korath, was, well, pretty standard human fighter, really. Standard array character.
Right.
Wow.
I can use
Important
that.
information.
I can use that. That's no problem at all.
Yes, he was brave and courageous, but also quite driven. Wanted to rise out of a poor upbringing.
Understood. Yes. Right. We haven't got the chalice. They're not having the chalice. We want to find a way for them to go away but not come back. Failing which, we offer them
Disappointment.
Yes, this disappointment. I'm a
I'm
wizard.
not angry. I'm just disappointed.
The last thing that my genie parents said to me before they returned to the elemental plane of air, never to return, was that they were disappointed in me.
Whoa, that's some deep backstory.
And
What a one shot.
I
hits
never
me right in
quite
the origins.
recovered from it. So that's why I came here, really, to find some peace. So
I've got a self-help book.
I might read
Right.
that.
Podrin picks up the backstory anvil and puts it out of shot.
Just gonna move this over here.
So what's plan B if the disappointment doesn't work? We grab Harren and run. We get help.
Earthquakes, rain,
Earthquakes and rain.
wind. I can't do fire, but
I can
do rain and wind.
sort of fire and a tiny little candle. Like that's technically fire, isn't it?
Podrin's going to lead in. If it helps in any way, that sounds like a good plan for dealing with Jozan. He's not the brightest, but his wizard compatriot probably won't be fooled by an illusion. We probably need a way of, if not subduing her, then at least getting her to vacate in another way.
I can seduce her.
Yes.
That is an
Silly
excellent
idea.
option.
Never mind. That's silly. Are you sure?
Why is it a silly
Podrin,
idea?
Do you
I don't know. It's not really my
think I
area.
could?
She seems a bit, well, maybe she just needs a bit of experience.
I think she was earlier when they walked in. I got a vibe.
Can I roll an insight check on my memory of that?
Sure.
Was there a vibe? Some might call it a vibe check. I think we're too old to say that.
25.
The eyes lingered for slightly too long.
Yeah. And I think there might have been a vibe.
Are you sure? I know I look all tough on the outside, but I do get insecure sometimes.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Message.
I could give it a go.
You could distract her.
Wow.
Well, the shame.
I will start unrobing, and I'm just my leather armor underneath.
Yeah.
And it's quite small
Yep.
and shapely.
Mm-hmm.
And
If
I'll
you would like, sorry.
power pose.
Blinken would like to prestidigitate your armor just so that it shines in the sun.
I've felt like this since I was 35.
It's more than one path to peace. That's what I've always thought.
I mean, as long as everything's, two ways. But I did get the sense.
I can try, team. I will do my best. But plan A is shame.
Yeah.
Plan B is shame.
Operation Father Shame.
All right, let's go.
Are you heading back towards the central annex?
Well,
Yes.
can we find a second way in that gets us in, like on one of the balconies?
Well, the kitchen opens out onto the cow pen, so you could go in through the kitchen.
Oh.
Yeah, well, let's do that. Handily, none of the cows are there to kick us, so...
They're not kicking cows. Bill was. Steve was, but Steve.
That's the high ground.
You can all. You're now sort of outside the cow pen, looking towards the kitchen, going. Probably goes. Well, it's a plan, I suppose. It's a. Blinken, do you need us to not be there? Do you want us to? What do you need?
Well, I mean, this is going to be the role of a lifetime. So obviously, Fog, you're going to be doing special effects, and we'll be doing the seduction as the B-roll. So that's very nice. And then primarily, I'm going to do my very best disappointment impression with sounds and lights and all of the above. So that's a plan, I think.
Do
Yes.
we need to distract the elf first?
Yes, I think if we can somehow get the elf away from the picture, because let's be honest, I think they saw through my illusions before, possibly.
Wizards are traditionally good at that.
Yes,
What
that is
if
a
we-
problem.
Get her outside through the front door where I'm waiting.
Mm.
And then as I'm chatting her up, you from the kitchen entry do your illusion thing. And I'll promise her more peace and other things than she's ever had with Josen.
Yes.
God, I'm really off my game. I don't know if I can do this.
You got this. You got this.
I got it.
You got this.
Okay.
Failing everything else, you could always, ask Eldath for assistance.
I have before. Not gonna lie.
So, Ifa's going around the front,
Yeah. And
and what are you going to do? How are you going to do this?
I'll probably cast thaumaturgy to create some kind of noise or something that would cause them to be alerted that there was.
And you're outside the front, sort of slightly to one side, causing noise, trying to get them to come outside. And you lot are by the kitchen entrance waiting for Mealy to be drawn out. Excellent. Hara, Josen is pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Mealy, they've left the shrine. Do they have it? I didn't see. They were going somewhere else. They were muttering about the waters being the... It doesn't sound like there's anything of any value here, Josen. It's not worth it. It is worth it. It's worth a fortune. How do you think he paid for all of this? Right, I guess.
Talk to Mealy. You're right. It's not worth it. This is more of one of those metaphorical treasures, you know.
Shut up.
Shut up yourself.
Well, I guess we'll wait then. And he walks over to Hara, puts a hand on the shoulder, and just waiting for something to happen. What kind of noise do you make outside the front?
The sound of about 6 cows mooing very loudly and aggressively. And maybe there's some stomping, like they're running up to the entrance.
Josen, sort of the hand on your shoulder, Hara, tightens, and the sort of black gauntlet-y element of it sort of phases over a little bit.
Don't worry. I'm sure cows couldn't possibly do you any harm.
Looks like they got support in the end. Mia, can you see what's going on outside? No, do you want me to check? Yes. Just have a look. Amelia sort of pops her head out the front and sees you, Ifa. Doesn't see any cows. What do you do?
I'll have said a little prayer to Eldath.
Cool.
Give
Guidance is
myself
there.
guidance.
Yeah.
And I'll go. Merely, was it?
Mealy.
Merely. I will shout her name in my most sultry voice and say, I know you feel it too. I promise you there is more to be found with me than with Josen. Join me.
What are you talking about? Who's out there? Just say, what?
Shh. Listen. I'm old. And I have a lot of experience. And I'll give her the look.
Roll a persuasion check.
Persuasion. This is exciting. 18.
Ooh. What's going on? It's not them. Points a finger at you, casts message. What are you talking about?
I will walk slowly towards her, arms out.
She's going to step out of the way of the door so she's not visible from Joseph and just look, no, what? Hey, no.
I know you want more than this. Stay here. The real treasure of Eldath is here, right here.
What, it's you?
Well. I mean, I wouldn't have said it myself, but since you're suggesting it, it's me and the Abbey and everyone. It's peace. It's joy. It's pleasure.
There's no chalice, is there?
Not the kind you're looking for. Not the kind Josen's looking for. But there is so much pleasure to be found in this abbey. Right here.
Look, I'm just a bit like... Look, he's been an ass. He's been an ass for a long time, and I knew that. But like, he promised us money, like, and he promised, like, I need to pay people back. You know,
we can sort that out. I've got a pension. I'm good. We can.
Okay.
All you need to. I'm not asking you to choose right now. All I'm asking is, just don't say anything when you go back in there. And then we'll talk after.
Okay. I guess. And she's looking kind of confused and also kind of like a lot of different thoughts about loyalty, but also looking at you. There's a kind of distracted by just, all of it. And is just, okay. Thank you. I'll keep quiet. No problem.
I'll give her a wink and an air kiss.
She blushes slightly and doesn't really know what to do with herself and turns and heads back inside. What was that? Oh, just the wind. Just the wind. It was nothing.
Play it cool.
Nothing at all. It's fine. Fine. He rolls an insight check.
Is it good?
Even +6, it's 9.
Now it's down to you, Blanken. Come on.
And what happens from the kitchen? What appears from the kitchen?
Right. Rules wise, this should work in order. Fog, what precisely can you cast?
Create or destroy water, earth, tremor, and healing word. Oh, and snare, right. But I don't think that's going to help.
Cue up the rain.
Yeah, got the rain.
Cue up the rain, and then when I'll give you the signal, then make the earth shake.
Okay. I will make. Do you want the earth shaking to hurt or not?
I mean, if it speeds Jason on his way, it's not going to hurt that much. It's not going to kill him. As peaceful a little push as you can. It's more for the immersive experience, really, that we're looking for here. We want you to go away. You're not.
I might
back.
do the gust then, rather than the earth tremor. Yeah.
Okay. Use your best judgment, Fog. If it feels like it's time for a tremor, I want you to go right in there. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Linking time. Let's do this.
Yes.
Start with the rain.
Cast create or destroy water and make it rain.
Hara, you're sat there with this gauntlet on your shoulder and Josen standing next to you when suddenly it starts to rain indoors.
I play it as cool as possible, just sit my team like, wonder what this could be.
What's going on? What is this?
So...
Oh, the Abbey has its ways.
It does. It really does. That's brilliant.
Oh, that's amazing. Love it. Right, it's raining indoors and Josen's looking around confused and Mealy's sort of said, don't say anything. He's just looking at it going... not quite sure what to make of it at all, but also not playing up to it at all.
All right, here comes some chain casting.
Yeah.
So, what happens first is the symbol of Eldath appearing luminescent on the wall with a sound of thunder and lightning.
Is this all minor illusion?
This is I can do this with minor illusion, yeah.
Because you can do two effects at once. Cool.
Yeah.
So the symbol of Eldath appears. Does it appear like water pouring, like cascading, or how does it appear?
So it appears like water cascading that then turns slowly into looking more like blood. So going from blue into red with the sound of the thunder and the lightning.
Josen looks at the wall and sort of, what's going on? First investigation roll. No. What is this? Looks at Hara. What is this? What is this?
I can't. I can see that. I suppose
you can see it too.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Actually, roll investigation check. See if you know.
Yeah.
Roll for Mealy as well.
That is a natural 1.
Oh, okay.
Natural 4. It's like I suddenly start to look mildly concerned. I'm not sure.
The mild concern actually steals into Josen's fear of what the fuck is this? What's going? Hello? If this is you lot, I'll kill him. Hand on your shoulder tightens. I swear I will. I'll kill him.
Next thing that happens is an owl flies across the ceiling, and as Josen's eyes follow the owl, a silent image of his father walks, turns towards him, and just points.
What's your spell save DC?
14.
From 11. Dad? What are you doing? What's going on?
He looks disappointed in you.
Keeps walking. As the dad leaves, then Blenkin has cast mirror image and starts twirling across as the father's voice echoes out, disappointed. He's disappointed.
Is that you twirling across?
Yes.
So it's Blenkin. Is Blenkin floating in midair saying he's disappointed?
Well, the father's image has stood, pointed the finger of disappointment, walked across.
Yeah.
Blenkin has cast mirror image
on Blenkin, on himself.
On Blenkin. Yep. Yeah. So then four Blenkins are just spinning across, going, he's disappointed.
This is some kind of trick. What are you doing? Looking at the mirror image floating of Blenkin. What's going on?
Disappointed. Blenkin goes off to the other side. This is now time for the gust of wind, a bit of pyrotechnics.
I will cast gust of wind.
Yep.
To try and push thingy away.
What's the
it's a strength saving throw.
Okay. Make sure I got the right stat block up. No, I'm rolling real badly. That's a 4.
No, that's not enough. So he is pushed 5 feet away.
So he stumbles away from Hara. There's this gust of wind blowing out. It's some kind of trick.
The Abbey has a habit of showing people what they need to reach peace.
It's fake. It's not real. Roll me an insight check.
Insight is 14.
He's not sure. He's really not sure. He's very unnerved.
Just accept it. You can still walk away from this.
No. No, I want my damn chalice. Roll me a persuasion check.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was so close to a 1. That's a 19.
19.
Yeah.
He's moving back towards the door, like clearly, like just horrified, terrified, not sure what's going on, just very close to the edge. Just no, it's mine. Anyone got anything to add at this point? Because he's not quite there yet.
Can I make?
Oh, go ahead, baby.
I can hear this presumably.
You can from the outside. Yes, you can.
Can I, with thaumaturgy?
Yes.
Throw the doors open as a sign for him to leave.
Yes.
The doors slam open. Wait. No. It's not quite there yet. No.
I'm going to cast Earth Tremor.
As you cast that, the silent image would like to just walk back in, point towards the door.
Right.
You can talk with a minor illusion. You've got the silent image up.
That is true. Leave. I always preferred your brother.
He needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh my god.
Is it good?
2.
Right. That is 4 points of bludgeoning damage, and he falls over.
Oh.
It's not loose stone.
No,
is it?
it's not. No.
No, but the earth has shaken and he has fallen.
He falls over and just falls to his knees. Just no, it must be fake. One last investigation check. It's a 12, and just in utter terror, just turns and runs. Just runs out the door, runs down the path, screaming. Runs out of the abbey, tail between his legs.
May we wave from the outside?
Mealy's just going to turn to you, Hara, and just very politely just go.
Thank you. It was not me, but
I'll, with thaumaturgy, slam the door shut, just so I can slam them open again and appear.
Excellent. You slam the door shut and then appear in them.
Could you borrow Blinken's hot tub and just sort of float in like this?
Podrin steps in from the kitchen. Oh, it worked. It worked. Wonderful.
Yes.
Can I move in on... sorry, I forgot her name again.
Can I move in on the person that
Merely. And, suggest a dip. I don't want to just dip her in a dancey way, but I want to ask her consent, not necessarily verbal.
She will accept the dip. She's already quite into you, and she's now thinks and she now thinks you're all kind of cool because that was really cool. It was a really cool way of doing it. She was really pleased about that. Yeah, definitely.
Dip her, bring her back up, and then and we lean in for the kiss, obviously.
Yeah, of course, and do
victory.
Blinken,
you like some sparks?
Blinken, have you dropped all the illusions like the Eldath symbol on the wall made of blood and that sort of thing?
Oh, yes.
Cool.
Yes.
As you drop the symbol, it remains for a second, and you all hear through your minds, you can always do it peacefully. And the symbol just washes off the wall as the rain keeps falling inside. Lovely.
Oh. I learned today that I still have it. Thank you, Eldath.
Amazing work, everyone. Obviously, that's the end of the adventure. You all succeeded in one of them got very badly hurt, but it was.
Is the last one still upstairs? Still tied up.
Still tied up. I think there's a shot of him just rotating quietly, just rotating on the spot.
Excellent.
Well done, everyone. Fantastic work. Oh, that was a great laugh. Well, thank you for joining us for the Abbey of Eldath and a lesson well learned about how D&D doesn't have to be about violence every single time. Yep. Good. Lovely. Condescension done. If you enjoyed tonight, We're doing a series of one-shots every Monday evening from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. GMT for the next 12 weeks on the official D&D channel, twitch.tv/D&D, and on our own twitch.tv/Adventurers Wanted. Much like this one, Untold Tales is about trying to find different ways to tell one-shots and different spins on classic D&D sort of storytelling. So in this case, the adventurers were the aggressors, and actually the party were trying to find a way around that. More of that sort of thing. We've already had a couple. There's more to follow. We'll be going... so for the next 12 weeks, that's clearly wrong. We'll be going until June, 15th is the last one, and then we've got a week off, and then we'll be starting a new campaign on June 29th, same slot, same time, on the D&D channel and on the twitch.tv/Adventurers Wanted. You can join us there for a brand new campaign in a brand exciting new setting, which we can't talk about because it's all very hush-hush for now. So yes, do join us there. We also run a monthly live game called Undergods, which is DM'd by Chloe Mashter, who runs Adventurers Wanted with me, and that is a sort of English folk adventure. It's a very different take on gods and godliness that we're now coming into the real meaty, juicy story part. So join us there. You can catch that and any of our shows at our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Adventurers Wanted, where you can find all sorts of lovely other things we've done in the past, including previous campaigns on the D&D channel and longer live shows we did in Edinburgh Festival and that sort of thing. So do check everything out there. We also stream John Carter Adventures. That is the John Carter of Mars adventure game from Modiphius Entertainment. A couple more weeks of that to go. That comes out sort of semi-monthly, so do check our Twitter for that. That's Adventures 250 on Twitter, where we'll be having more information about when those are streaming. Do join us for those. Otherwise, we have other one-shots and that sort of thing that will flow out either on our Twitch channel or on our YouTube page. We're also on Facebook, again, Adventurers Wanted, or on Instagram, also Adventurers Wanted, or on Patreon, also Adventurers Wanted, where you can become a patron of our company, get loads of homebrews, little homebrew adventure ideas, and tickets to live shows when we can start doing that again. Obviously, we're all in lockdown at the moment. But yes, you can join us there for even more things that we do. We are once again thrilled to be sponsored by D&D Beyond and by Ultra Pro, both wonderful companies we couldn't do what we do without. So big thank you to them again for supporting us as they do. Now, we are in lockdown, so the people at this table may be doing other things online with their streaming time. Anyone have anything they want to plug that they're working on alongside things at the moment?
Yeah, I've got a show coming out tomorrow through the Saboteur Awards Festival online. You can find them, Saboteur Awards, and you'll find them. It's a 25-minute spoken word theatre piece that I wrote and formed together with Ross McFarlane. And it's about millennials and kind of capitalism and how everything is terrible, but also lovely. And it's queer and fun family and all those wonderful things.
Perfect. Thanks, peeps. David, you got something to plug?
Sure. I'd say that if you've enjoyed the sound of my voice through this and you're into audiobooks in any way, shape or form, have a little search of David Shears on audible.co.uk or audible.com and see if there's a book that'll take your fancy, which I guarantee you'll be listening to me in.
Excellent. George, anything you want to push at the moment?
I don't really have anything online at the moment. My fiction and games writing is linked to on my website, which is georgelockett.com. And you can find me on Twitter at MasterGeorge. You can read some of my words in many places. Check my Twitter for things that are happening when they're public, which will hopefully be soon.
Mm-hmm. You can find me on social media via the Adventurers accounts, because I can't remember what my account details are, where you can basically find me saying what I'm doing in my craft life. But I would also like to take this opportunity to apologise to Steve Rogers for continually naming things in D&D campaigns after him. I'm really sorry, Steve.
It's all right. Steve's now in many things, and now we add Bull to the register. It's great.
Yeah. Sorry, Steve.
Lovely. Thank you. Well, with that, we bid you adieu. Have a lovely rest of your evening, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, folks.
Cheers. Bye.